Good evening, everybody. How are you doing? It is Thursday night and we are back painting this badass Barbarian. We're trying to get this guy finished this evening. Doesn't happen, that's cool. But this guy has had all the oils, all the washes, loads of everything. Now he's ready for some crisp edge highlights, a little bit of weathering. Maybe if we're feeling kind of like we got some time, some freehand perhaps. Who knows? Who knows? How you guys doing? Milo Splat, Andrew Octobid, S Farrell, M Peters, The Crooked Grin, Main Unit, and Viking. Good evening to you all. Also tonight, we're going to go through the army lists for this weekend's event that I'm running. It's called Out of the Darkness. It's at Atlantic Games in Stroud, UK. Close to my hometown. And we've got 16 lists to go through. Just because why not? There's plenty of us here that at least enjoy playing 40k, even if you're not too into the competitive side of things. So why not? Let's have some fun. Let's review some lists. I know Mr. S Farrell 7 in the chat there is desperate to hear what I want to say about his list. Let's get some paint down and we'll start talking lists as we go through. So like I said, we've covered off almost all of the recesses on this dude. We've got all of those oil washes down, so we've given ourselves a really good set of fairly realistic looking skin tones. Now it's a chance to really amp this guy up, and the first thing I want to do is get all of the brown and the green and stuff out of the way, all the background colours. They don't need much of a highlight, you see. They're just something that's in there because it's got to be the background. Then after we've done that, we start working on the red, power through all of that. It's a massive part of the miniature. And then we'll finish up on the skin after we've done those horns, because we want to be able to use that time to cover up any potential mistakes we've made whilst we've got all of this locked down. Let's grab our wet palette, and you'll see we now have the shelves. These are up. They are taller than I was kind of hoping they'd be, because it means that there's not much room for that poster we were talking about. In fact, there's none between that and this camera being here, which is a shame. It is a shame, but it's okay because they're super cool. I just can't remember where anything is. I think this is the red shelf. That was the red shelf. We're going to need that later on. We need some stuff to do, some greens. There's a green shelf about here. We'll check this out for some P3 green. We haven't used it yet. So Welshy, coming in with that sub. Thank you very much, dude. Much appreciated. We've got some browns to do. Go to this shelf when we've got maybe some Stellesian drab. We'll do, and we want a little bit of bone colour. Let's grab some mouth white highlight, and that'll do us for a bit. It's going to take me a minute to remember where everything is in this, whereas the old one we could kind of do it like almost intuitively. I knew exactly where everything was. This time, not so much. Not so much. The top of your glass cabinet right now, one sexy knight and one sexy Quran. Dude, that's awesome. I'm glad he finally arrived. And the Quran is awesome. He's so good. So good. I was really happy the way he came out. Just absolutely like 10 out of 10 for that one, I think. Considering a lot of that was rushed because we were running out of time, I think he came out really well. Let's get some water on our wet palette and then start the green. And then, seeing as we're painting green, let's go through a list that is green in theme from the event this weekend. So if we go to BCP Player, here's the event. Out of the Darkness. Let's go to the roster. And we're looking at Abner Yates. So Abner's a guy that I met at an event about a year ago. Really good dude. And was playing Salamanders at the time. This was when Iron Hands were the hotness. Mr. Brutal, how you doing, dude? Good evening from the land wife forgot. Okay. That's a bit of a weird one, but... How you doing, John? So Abner has got Death Guard this time around. He's not playing Sally's, he's playing Death Guard. And he's got a really interesting list. I really like it. Ben, my housemate, who's also taking Death Guard, had a look through this guy's list when the lists were made public and was like, damn, he's taking basically the same list as I am, and I think his list is better than mine. Milo, how do you submit a list? Too late, man. Currently, we are 16 players out of 16 players. Everyone's put their lists in. Everyone's been checked by me. Make sure all the lists are legal. So Abner is running the Poxmongers. So the Poxmongers is a Death Guard faction that is mostly about buffing demon engines. Dubrock! Thank you for that follow. Oh, Wi-Fi. I'm like, damn, have you really pissed off your missus? Like, what's the deal here, dude? What's the juicy goss? I'm going to grab a little bit of our Meneth White highlight. I'm going to do a second highlight with that green. Just going to boost it up a little bit using this because it's a very natural, warm colour. We don't want to blow out any of our highlights whatsoever. But I really like that green that we just laid down. That's a really nice kind of sea green from P3. That's called Gnarls Green, I thought. Yeah, Gnarls Green. Big fan. So the Poxmongers are all about buffing your demon engines. And there's a really, really good relic in there. And he's probably got it. Yeah, the Ironclot Furnace. Which will give you a 7-inch radius aura, because narrative and Death Guard and all that jazz, where your demon engines get a 4-up invulnerable save, not a 5-up invulnerable save. And that's pretty gnarly. Oh god, the bad jokes are never ever going away, guys. Just gotta live with them. So, the list is 1999 points. He starts with 7 command points after spending a feck load. He's got Chaos Lord, Bolt Pistol, Bale Sword, Arc Contaminator, Warlord trait, so that's rerolls to all plague weapons within a 7-inch radius as far as their wound rolls go. Really, really, really useful. Nice little trick you can do with that and a few of the other interactions in the Codex and the new Psychic Awakening book as well. Switch to audio only and it works. Nice, dude. I thought it might do. John's just tuning in for the list review show. He's already an awesome painter. Gonna get some photos of John's army. It's gonna be sick. I'm going to get some highlights on the boots. We're going to go with Steel Legion Drab, which is a massive difference over this. We're going to do this as like a sort of weathered, sort of scratchy highlight rather than an actual highlight. Again, we're going to do 2 highlights, one with the Steel Legion Drab and another one using a little bit of that Meneth White highlight mixed in as well to really punch up the volume we've got on these highlights. So we've got a Chaos Lord. We've got a Demon Prince with a Hellforged sword, so not the usual double claws, and also not with wings. Apparently, a little bit too expensive, couldn't fit that all in, so had to go wingless. But I feel that as long as you can get across the board, that's not the end of the world. Wings would be great, especially so you can charge over stuff with fly and so on and so on. But never mind. That Demon Prince has got Miasma of Pestilence, which is an amazing psychic power, -1 to hit. Can't really argue about that one. That's pretty much the mainstay. You're playing Death Guard, you're taking this. He's also given an extra Warlord trait to give him Revoltingly Resilient, to give him a 4+++ for his Feel No Pains. It is pretty gross, that. It's pretty gross. And that's the guy with the Iron Clock Furnace. So he doesn't want to go too far away from the vehicles anyway. He wants to use that to give them, like I said, that 4-up invulnerable save to everything within 7 inches. It's going to make those vehicles pretty tough to shift, and that means that he doesn't really need to have those wings to take advantage of the extra movement, because he's just going to be running up the board with the tanks, with the little roly boys if they're in the list, so on and so forth. In troops, we've got 2 units of 10 Poxwalkers, so super cheap, and then 1 unit of 5 Plague Marines with a single Blight Launcher, so very, very light on troops. It means there's not a lot of OBSEC in this detachment that could come back to hurt him. Wooden Spoon! How's it going, Matt? We're doing some list reviewing. So a little bit of Comp 40k talk tonight, which is good. Then in the elite slot, this is where it gets a little bit gross. We've got a Biologist Putrefier with the Hyper Blight Grenades. This is the guy that buffs your grenades. And he's pretty grim. He's kind of nasty. Not somebody to take lightly. Injection Pistol, Plague Knife, the usual shit. Then we've got 5 Blight Lord Terminators, which right now take so much work to shift off of objectives that they're crazy, crazy durable. And whilst they don't have OBSEC, that doesn't really matter, because you can just leave them somewhere and they're not dying, and eventually they'll have that objective. So that's pretty cool. We've then got, which is the biggest punch in this guy's list, 2 Foul Blight Spawns. These guys are what I call a Smelly Flamer Dude. The Smelly Flamer Dude has a flamer that is random number of shots, d6, the auto hit, same as almost every other flamer in the game. With a strength of 2d6, which means anywhere from 2 to 12. Flat damage 3 at -3. Sorry, Ben's just walked in and he's a Death Guard expert, so I thought, yeah, get the ass in right now. Now there's a strat that you can use, or a relic. It's one of the two. Is it a strat for the? Yeah. There's a strat you can use on this guy where whenever he fires his super flaming death hose of poison, you roll 1 extra d6 for the number of shots and discard the lowest, and 1 extra d6 for the strength and discard the lowest, which means that it's going to average out to 4 shots at strength 8. Flat 3 -3. That's horrible. Jake says hi. That is pretty horrible. He's got 2 of those, so if you kill one, you can still do it on the other one. Obviously, it's a pretty strong part of the list, and they're good at taking on pretty much anything. So it's good. It's good. Jake's now asking how your bum is. We haven't alluded to the fact that might or might not be a Warhammer reference, so answer however you would like. It says it's healing up nicely. Bursting wide open. Then in the fast attack, we've got an interesting choice. We've got 3 separate Myphitic Blight Haulers. So these are the little roly boys, as Ben calls them. Each one's got a missile launcher and a multi-melter. Nice bit of anti-tank in the list. They also provide to any unit that's wholly within 7 inches the benefit of cover, which in 9th edition means that because it's undefined as to what it might be, you're treated as being in a terrain piece that has the light cover keyword. So there are some interesting interactions with that, because you can't be in 2 terrain pieces, you can only be in 1, and so if you're not careful, you'll be stood somewhere you think you're getting an advantage, but if that hauler is too close to you, you're actually just stood in terrain that is light cover for purposes of shooting. So be careful with that, Abner, if you're listening. Don't want to not get yourself the benefit of something like dense cover or obscuring, anything like that. So just be careful. He's then got, I love this. This is my favourite thing in the list entirely. Chaos Land Raider. Chaos Land... When was the last time you guys saw a Land Raider on a table? Maybe Tabletop Titans Battle Reports. But Chaos Land Raider. Not only is this a Chaos Land Raider with 4 las cannons, this is a Chaos Land Raider that for 2 CP can be given disgustingly resilient. So suddenly that's a Land Raider with a 2-up armor save and a 5-up Feel No Pain on a toughness 8 16 wound platform. Fortunately, you can't make it a demon engine, because otherwise it would also have a 4-up invuln save at that point. But holy fuck beans, that's just cool. It's just cool. I'm not necessarily going to tell you it's good, because it's still a Land Raider. It can shoot in combat with 4 las cannons and a heavy bolter. I remain unconvinced at how good that's going to be, but it's in the list. And then finally, 2 Plague Burst Crawlers with Entropy Cannons. One of them has got the Accelerated Entropy stratagem used on it. It's a pre-game strat. You pay 1 CP, your Entropy Cannons become Plague Weapons, which with Arch Contaminator mean you get those full reroll to wound, so that's pretty tasty. And then not only do they become Plague Weapons, they also get minimum damage 3. I don't know, Nick, I wondered that as well. Because with a 4-up invuln save on top of all that would be pretty gross. How's a tip taste? Tip tastes lovely, mate. So yeah, that's a pretty solid list. We're really liking it. Jake has the benefit of playing that round 1 with his orcs. And I think Jake's feeling relatively confident about the game, seeing as he played Death Guard last night and it gave them a little bit of a pasting. Abner doesn't have a lot in the way of troops, which is unfortunate, because that's going to hamper his amount of obsec that he gets. It's going to make it very difficult after, say, sort of turn 2 to 3 to hold those objectives. And so hopefully he's got a plan in mind for that. But I think it's a good list. Oh, and then also 2 Chaos Rhinos with Combi Bolters. So you've got transports. Transports are good. I'm not entirely certain you can put the Poxwalkers in a Rhino. You might be able to. If you can, I can see that being super annoying. Drive a bus full of Poxwalkers up the table, set an objective, Rhino dies, they jump out, they hold the objective. So potentially something to have to consider there, Mr. Jake. Maybe a little bit of light reading for you to do. Check out the Death Guard Codex. Can you put Poxwalkers in a Rhino? So that's Abner's list. Again, I like it. It's a solid list. There's some fun things there that you don't see very often, like, for instance, that Chaos Land Raider. So loads going on there to love. Polyox Cracker, good evening. I'm going to try and get this guy done for you. I'm sorry to hear you're on a load of pain meds, because that sounds like it sucks. But fingers crossed it's nothing too serious, mate. Didn't know you got free cat hair. It's including every single prize, mate. Every prize. It's just an added benefit of being a subscriber here. You earn yourself some literal meeps. My cat molts so much. I swear this is the reason why she's still so small, is because all of her energy goes into growing hair, which she then sheds constantly. There's no end to it. No end whatsoever. So that was Abner's list. Good list. I like it. I think it's a lot of fun. I think there's a lot that he can do with it. Yeah, solid. Very solid. Then we're moving on to our first Marine player, who's playing, unsurprisingly, Salamanders there's a few of those this weekend. Quite a few. Having to read up the Salamander stratagems tomorrow evening. Got myself some nice chill out time to sit and contemplate what the absolute bentness is of some of their units right now. So here's the thing, Salamanders in 8th edition were a gimmick. That was it, that's all they were just a gimmick. Because you had one dude that was your warlord that could be toughness 9, have -1 to wound, and just generally be annoying, that would go around occasionally knocking things over with a Thunderhammer. And that was kind of all you got. And now you've got a much smaller board size, which means that all of those flamers that you would want to get in range, all those melter guns that you want to get in range of Salamanders, suddenly are. And that's an amazing thing, right? Just changing the size of the playing area took one of the Marine Codexes, which, let's face it, was not a good one, but it was still Marines. It was still strong because it was power armor. Baffling! And made it pretty tough. Made it really, really tough, in fact. As well as, of course, the new unit, which is the Eradicators. Being Melter, they take full advantage of Salamander's Chapter Tactic to get that extra +1 to wound while you're in a Tactical Doctrine, so that's turn 2 onwards. So they're scary. They are scary. Of course, you can outflank them as well, so you've got many ways of causing a ruckus with those motherfucking things. So let's look at Alex's list. Alex again spent 1,999 points. Andrew Oxbeard says, managed to purchase 2 Predators for half price on Sprue. Could they be good in 9th? You did see the video where Games Workshop literally went, here's a Predator. We're replacing it with this Primaris editor. Primaris editor. Don't know, mate. Don't know. For Chaos, I think you still get the the 3 Predator strat, which is actually quite good. Monster Hunter. So let's look at Alex's list. Alex is going to start with 8 CP. He's got a patrol detachment to begin with. He's bought an extra relic. He's got the regular Primaris Captain with power sword and bolt rifle. A Primaris Lieutenant with a bolt rifle. He's got a couple of Intercessor squads of 5. Sergeant with a power sword on one, chainsword on the other one. So nothing crazy so far. He's got a couple of Suppressor squads. They're quite nice. I do like Suppressors. They've got a lot of mileage. And they can certainly do quite a lot. I'm not necessarily sure that they're the optimal choice in a Salamander's list. But it might be that they're just filling a slot that something else couldn't do. Kill shot, that was the one. That was the one. So we've got 2 units of 3 Suppressors. Then we've got a Eliminator squad. So that's the Sniper boys. I think Snipers are solid in 9th. Because characters become even more fragile. So those Snipers never really got a kill. Not really, they weren't reliably killing shit in 8th. But if you can just get a few wounds through onto a character now, because they're more vulnerable, those Snipers are definitely a threat and can finish them off. Remember though, they have lost the shoot round corners, no line of sight snipey. That got changed in the FAQ. I can't remember exactly what to, but I do know that that was one of the things that got taken away. You can see we're just doing a couple of little highlights on the rocks. May as well get these in while we're working with the Browns. Next up, we've got a Hellblaster squad. That That's right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a Hellblaster squad. 5 Hellblasters. With the regular, normal old plasma incinerators. I don't remember the last time I saw Hellblasters on the table, other than my own, which only go in a list because they're the only Marines that I have. Right, let's get some more mouth white highlight in that, boost up the value a little bit, and get another set of highlights down on the vast majority of what we've just painted. Yeah, Hellblasters, that's a bold choice, Cotton. Again, suppressors not optimal, Hellblasters not necessarily optimal, but maybe both of these things come into play. He's then got an Impulsor with a shield drone, because every Marine player has Impulsors now. When the Codex came out, me and Mikey went through the Marines as part of our sort of Codex overview, and I said flat out, like, I think the Impulsor is going to be really good. Like, watch this space. That's going to be the sleeper unit no one uses for a few months, and then suddenly everyone will need them. And then lo and behold, Vic VJ did an extremely good job at the Beachhead Brawl, using a couple of Impulsors in a adapted Broviathan list, and suddenly everyone was on the Impulsor train. Really good guy, Vic. Meant to play him in a battle report against his Grey Knights, and that's very possibly not ever going to happen now, which is a shame, but that was called off due to COVID. Good guy, though. We've then got a second detachment. This is another patrol, so we've paid some points for this one. We have the Indomitus Primaris Captain. So this is the guy, the big shield, looking very imposing. Andrew, I hate the look of the new Predator. It's like an 8-year-old who's drawn a car and then made it fly and then put guns on it, and that's literally it. But I know people that like it, I just don't. That's fine. Let's see what else we've got. We've got another Lieutenant. I'm not sure if he knows he doesn't need to put in that many characters to fill out his detachments, but that's cool. That's cool. We've got another Intercessor squad, 5 men, Sergeant Chainsword, a second one of exactly the same. So essentially 4 units of Intercessors. One of the sergeants has a power sword in a list. That's kind of it. Those are his troops. So not a lot in the way of troops, but still got plenty of Marine bodies on the table, though. Looking at everything else we've got so far. We've got an Aggressor squad of 3 with Flamestorm Gauntlets. Probably would have made that a larger squad and dropped something else. Bit of a bullet magnet, I know, and they can't fit in the Impulsor if they're 3 or if they're more than 3, but there's some strats that you really want to be using on them, and obviously you get more bang for your buck with a larger unit. We've got an Inceptor squad with Plasma Exterminators, so we're still bringing out some of the less seen units in that Marine book. Jumpy dudes, as Winnick would say it, with Plasma. Strange one. So let's think about it. We've got 2 units of Plasma guys. If they overcharge, one of them hit Strength 8. This will, I think, start off at Strength 6 and become Strength 7. But at least they're mobile. So he has got mobility. He's going to be able to get on some of those primary objectives early. Depending on what secondaries he chooses, he might end up with quite a good score from some of those. So that's not a bad choice necessarily if he's sort of sculpting his list around that set of thoughts. What else we got? We've got another Eliminator squad. So that's a second unit of snipers. But this unit has a Instigator Bolt Carbine, which I'm reasonably sure is the weapon that allows you to shoot and then fall back before the charge goes through. Nick, you reckon we'll see Inceptors loads now? Still not overly sold, mate. Only because I think you'll end up just seeing other units that are currently in a better position. But I'd be interested to hear why you think that. Nick is, of course, the best Dark Angels player in the world. And certainly for him, some Plasma Inceptors wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing. Let's see what else we've got on the list. We've got 2 Las Fusils, and the Sergeant in that unit has a Bolt Carbine, so a little bit more anti-tank. Then finally, oh wait, not finally, but here it is, that Eradicator squad. There we go. Eradicators are in there. The mortal wounds are capped, yes. Inceptors cost the same as a Hellblaster now. Let's see. They're 50 points a model for the Plasma ones. The Hellblasters, I think, are a lot less. The Hellblasters, yeah, are like 33 points. And then a second Impulsor. So 2 Impulsors in the list. Got some transports. There's plenty of stuff here that's units to 3 that can go in them. Keep those Eradicators safe for first turn. Not have to pay some points for some deep striking. That's definitely an option. We've got obviously Aggressors that can go in there, get boosted up the board as an Inceptor. Sorry, not as an Inceptor, as an Impulsor. You still have that ability to get out and then move, but you can't charge. So, for 3 Inceptors, it might be 120 points, but for the Plasma ones that he's put down here, 150 points. And if not, his list is under by about 30 points. Relatively sure I checked it though. So yeah, I think that's an okay list. There's definitely some stuff there that's a little odd, and certainly there's some stuff that could catch a few people out. But I think that's good. I think what he's got there has got some legs. There's quite a lot of Marines. That's definitely something to think about. Does anyone think Void Weavers will ever be good? John, what do you reckon? You're the guy in the best position to answer that. Right, let's do the Grey Cloak, and we'll move on from Alex's list to the second Death Guard list, Mr. Ben! Mr. Ben! Dark grey, which would be about here. That looks like a rubber highlight. Rubber highlight. Recently found a band I think you'll like, Lord of the Lost. They're with Napalm Records, think Rammstein in English. That was sweet, dude. It does sound cool. Lord of the Lost. At 6 models or more, get 6 shots each. Oh, they're blast. Okay. Okay, I can see that. To be fair, it was something you literally never saw before. So, it would be nice to see them. Let's have a look through Ben's list. So Ben, like we said earlier on, has a list that is very similar to Abner's list. He's also running Death Guard. He's also running the Poxmongers Plague Clan. What do they call it? Smelly Boys Detachment. I don't know. What's the name of the Plague Cohort or something? I don't know. Don't know. Moving on. Moving past that. But he's got the Poxwongers. He is sat at exactly 2,000 points. First list to have 2k on the nose. Starts with 8 CP after spending out a few in the list building stage. He's got himself a battalion with a Chaos Lord, the Arc Contaminator Warlord trait, and that Ironclot Furnace. So there you go. We saw both of those 2 things earlier on. This guy's going to sit with all of those cool-ass demon engines, as you know. He's going to be giving them rerolls of all wounds with the poison, the plague keyword. And there's something Ben's got in his list here that he's cooking up that is pretty tasty. Plague Company. That'll do. That will do. One of the 7 great plague companies of Smelly Boys. So you got that Chaos Lord. We've then got a Lord of Contagion. I really like this guy now. So Lord of Contagions were never taken, essentially, in 8th because they weren't a Lord-style character. They didn't give you rerolls, basically, whereas the Chaos Lord did, and the Demon Prince did, but the Lord of Contagion didn't. He does have an extremely fucking epic axe that I believe is Strength 8 in combat, and does flat 3 damage. Flat 3 damage is the best damage stat in the game, because it's dependable and it murders so much stuff. So much stuff. Custodes, as soon as you fail a save, you're down. Aggressors, you're down. Any of the new Primaris shit that's come out that's got randomly 3 wounds, you're down. And it only really takes 2 swings to go through to kill things like Chapter Masters, even some of the named ones. So I really like Lord of Contagion, but he never had that rerolls to wound. But now there's a strat you can play pre-game, which is called Harbinger of Nurgle, which means that you then get to have reroll 1s in an aura around him, which is super good. Super, super good. We've then got a Warlord trait of Rotten Constitution, which I believe reduces all damage taken by 1. Which is nice, because this guy's going to frequently be attacked by stuff like Smash Captains, swinging with some Thunder Hammers. By reducing that damage after maybe failing the invulnerable save that you've got, then get your Disgusting Resilient on top of that, he's basically got a little personal Iron Stone for himself, which is super, super, super good. So I like that. Quick question, do I need to get 8 Ed Chaos Coats to build an army like Nighthead Core Book? Yes, but you could just get it for free on the app. Or you could pay for the app and get it included in your subscription. So there's a couple ways to go about that. I'm going to pick up a little bit more of a highlight, just a little few areas of that grey. So I'm going to mix in some more Menoth White highlight with it. We're not going up to bright white, we just want a little bit more to get a second highlight down. Something to remember about the Chaos Codex, though. A lot of the Chaos Codex got the Vigilus stuff rolled into it, which included specialist attachments, which you now can't take in competitive play. So just be careful you don't write a list, go out and buy a list, and then suddenly find out you can't use that list. No specialist attachments. We've then got a third HQ in there, which is the Malignant Plague Cast. It's the Nurgle version of your Sorcerers. They're kind of cool, but they're frequently somebody you'd almost rather just have a Sorcerer of Nurgle, but it is what it is. He's got Smite, Miasma of Pestilence, Gifted Contagion. So Miasma, as we said earlier on, pretty much mandatory. Get that -1 to hit on your stuff. I know there's a lot of things that can maybe cancel that out. Now you can't stack them, but if I'm honest, I hate playing against armies that have got -1 because just psychologically you look down at your dice and go, that's a 3, that would have hit. Fucking -1s. You get a little of that sort of in-person sort of going on tilt. Just over rolling a 3, which would normally have been a hit. So, it's good to have those minuses, and it reduces your opponent's effectiveness by 17% as well, which is not to be sniffed at. And it works in both melee and shooting as well, so really, really useful thing to protect a unit you absolutely want to live. Like that a lot. Gift Contagion is kind of nice. You cast it on an enemy unit, you roll a d3, and then they lose either a point of strength, toughness, or attacks. Knocking somebody's toughness down is massive. It means that so many more things suddenly wound you on either 4s or 5s instead of 6s. maybe start winning you on 2s instead of 3s. You know, it's big. It's really, really big. Playing Necrons or Space Marines, wait for new codex, you want a paper codex? Yes, definitely. Let's move into the troops. We've got a unit of Plague Marines, champion with a plasma gun, 2 Plague Marines with plasma guns as well. Second unit that is Plague Champion with nothing. Oh wait, there's a Blight Launcher in there. There's 1 Blight Launcher in the unit, and then 10 Poxwalkers. So we've also got some Poxwalkers. And now, let's go on to highlighting the red. So let's grab ourselves our Khador Red base. Love this shit. I think I missed something. But, Andrew, did you do something that didn't have an alert? I think something was meant to happen, didn't. But anyway, just in case it wasn't, we'll move on. Let's get this nice and thin, do some crisp edge highlights, a little bit of weathering, a little bit of scratching going on. We've got some elites, got some Blight Lord Terminators. Unit of 5 with bubotic axes. There's no Plague Flail in there though, which is a shame. Chris Frozin! Dude. Here he is, everyone. Boys and girls, children of all ages. It is the Silent Prince himself, Mr. Chris Frozin. How's it going, champ? Have you seen the good news in the No Retreat admin chat? Because it is good news. If you've not, I won't spoil the news, but it is good news. Also, how is your stream, brother? Probably just come over with Chris. Tonight we're continuing work on our Barbarian style paint job on this guy from Shadespire. This is Ghulgoch the Butcher, ordinarily. But we're painting him in red. Because why not? Jan! How you doing, brother? Everyone, I know you're all following Jan, but you should definitely be following Jan if you're not. Chris, I'm good, dude. Honestly, can't complain, mate. Got the bread made nice and early today, so I don't have to worry about needing that at fucking 12:30 tonight. Have my pizza tomorrow after my walk. Oh, yes. Looking forward to that. But tonight we're painting this guy while we go through some list analysis for a tournament I am both running and playing in this Sunday at my local. So we've gone through a Death Guard list and we've gone through a Salamanders list so far. We're going through another Death Guard list right now. So if you're the sort of person that enjoys a little bit of competitive 40k or just enjoys 40k in general, a lot of the chat will be about that rather than painting tonight, though of course we are still painting as we go. And feel free to ask any questions that you may have or want to sort of just inquire. You get a little bit of battle damage down on these knee pads, just some little light scratching more than anything else. So we're into the elite section of Ben's list. Ben's my housemate. He played his first game of 9th and his first game of 40k since February yesterday. About to bake some Guinness and chocolate brownies. I so need one of those. Like, really, really need one of those. That would be epic. Ben made a Guinness cake at one point, which was a little bit like, yeah, I can't see the point of this. But God, that was pretty damn tasty. Super moist. Thank you, Scott, from Maniac, that has meant that whenever I say the word moist, I have to do that now. It's subliminal. Right, carry on through Ben's list. So we're into the elite section. We've got a unit of Terminators with robotic axes, 5 of them. Got a Foul Blight Spawn. That Smelly Flamer Man again. He's super key. But Ben currently only has 1. He's got 3 of the minis, but only 1 of them is painted up. He keeps saying, oh, I'm waiting for a break in your commission queue, and I've told him that I might paint them by Christmas. Not this one. Mr. Potato Head is getting a new head from Blackstone Fortress Castle Marine. Oh, yes, dude. Nice. Great Red, thank you very much, Gallifire. This is some Khador Red base. We use this over a mixture of this and brown with the airbrush on all of these elements. And then we gave them all an oil wash of both a dark brown, burnt umber, and a second pass with some magenta oil as well. So we've got loads of sort of vibrancy going on from the red now from doing both of those two. And we're just now able to get our crispy edge highlights going down on these. What else we got? We've got some fetid bloat drones, 2 of them in fast attack, 2 single bloat drones with plague spitters, so the normal weapons they come with from the Dark Imperium box. We've then also got some Roly Boys, those Myphitic Blight Haulers that Abner was running. This time it's 1 unit of 3, and the reason behind that is if you've got a unit of 3, while there are 3 or more in the unit, they do gain +1 to hit ranged weapons, which when you're armed with multi-melters and missile launchers, that's pretty okay. It is pretty okay. I think I missed something here from earlier on. Yes, I did miss something earlier on. So on Ben's Malignant Plaguecaster, he has a relic that I don't think you'll see very often. You know how in almost every Games Workshop publication, like, and here's the relic pistol! Yay! And everyone's like, yeah, whatever. Ben really likes this relic, and I can see why. So it's called Wormspitter, and Wormspitter has a special rule. It's a range 15 pistol with damage 1 and -2, so it's not bad, but it's not great, let's be honest here. It's not setting the world on fire. And then, when you hit a target, not wound it, but when you hit a target, it becomes corroded. And targets that are corroded treat all weapons that are fired against them as plague weapons for the duration of that phase. So you hit a unit with this pistol. You've got to be up close. But bam! Shoot a unit with a pistol, it becomes corroded. Everything you fire is a plague weapon and gets to reroll wound rolls of 1, unless it's right next to a guy with Arc Contaminator, because then it rerolls to wound. So something that Ben did yesterday when he played Jake was he fired this pistol into a unit of boys that were large enough to have blast happen at its weapons maximum, and then used his 2 remaining Blight Haulers to shoot frag missiles into the unit. So you got 12 shots that rerolled 1s to hit so near the Chaos Lord, and then rerolled all of their wound rolls against these boys. That's alright. That's okay. That's a nice little trick there. But it means that if there's one big thing like a knight, you know, suddenly those rerolls, I've played enough Eldar with Doom causing me all kinds of grief, those rerolls are all going to start to mount up. So that's a nasty trick he's got there. He's then got 3 Plague Burst Crawlers. One of them he's chosen to give Entropy Cannons, and he's given it the strat to make those Entropy Cannons, there we go, always have a minimum of 3 damage, and then on top of that they have the Plague Weapon keywords. So if you do get close enough up to somebody to hit them with that Plague Pistol, and then are able to get that Plague Burst Crawler to get them in their sights, someone's going to get hurt. What do I think of Vulcan Hestan? I think Vulcan's actually pretty tough right now. Jotun! Thank you very much for that sub, dude. Really appreciate it, man. So that's another strong Death Guard list. He doesn't have 3 of the Smelly Flame Amends, which is, if I was running a Death Guard list, something I'd definitely think to put in there. But other than that, I can't really fault that list. That's a strong list. Remember, all of those Demon Engines are going to be getting that 4-up invulnerable save because of the Ironclad Furnace, which is super, super, super good. Fish, you do now have quite a lot of extra choices. You're no longer limited to just taking a lot of Plague Marines, hoping you get some missions that you can score okay on, and then usually, if I'm honest, for Death Guard players, and this is sad, hanging out at the bottom tables of the tournament hall. They were the losingest faction in 8th edition in the last season, so the one we're currently in for the ITC, unless you took my wins and losses out of Imperial Knights, in which case Imperial Knights were. So. Teneva, it's okay, man. Welcome to the stream. We're talking about some competitive lists. I don't have a Necron one to go over. To be honest, for 1500, that looks okay. Very durable. That's a definite inspired by Frozin list. I can tell that. So let's move on. This is my favourite list. It's not mine. This is absolutely my favourite list of the event, and I'm gutted I didn't draw this guy round 1. Because unless I lose my first game, which I'd obviously hope not to, I'm not entirely certain I've got any chance of running into the guy. But you never know. This list is hilarious and awesome, all at the same time. So this is a Tyrannid list. It's a custom Hive Fleet with Metamorphic Regrowth and Prey Sight. I cannot for the life of me remember what either of those two things do. I have literally zero clues whatsoever. So if somebody knows, hook a brother up. We could do with the intel to save me just scrolling through the Psychic Awakening books on the app. But this is an awesome, awesome stream. And an awesome list. I was reading the chat, but it is an awesome stream. So his list is a super heavy detachment. A Tyrannid super heavy detachment. Let that sink in for a second. What manner of crazy shit are we about to see? You know, Metamorph regains wounds. Okay. It's definitely some sort of Titan. There's definitely a Titanic keyword going on. Because there is a Barbed Hierodule. So this has got some biocannons on it and a pair of Scything Talons. And it's a kind of mid-sized Tyrannid beastie. And by mid-sized, I mean it's about the same size as a knight if you lie the knight down. It's a chunky boy. It's a really, really chunky boy. He's then got a Scythe Hierodule, which I used to have one of these. This was the jewel of my Tyrannid army when Tyrannids got first released in plastic back in, I want to say 2006 or something silly like that. Might even have been earlier than that. And I loved this guy. He was my absolute favourite thing in my Tyrannid army. But that's only 2 things, and you need 3 super heavies to make it a super heavy detachment. So let's just throw in there a Harridan. The gigantic flying Tyrannid Dragon of Death. The monster of this unit with that don't secret charge move is charged with regeneration to the end of that turn when resolving attack. The weapon around that. Damn! +1 to hit in melee. That's quality. That's quality. Jan, you hate nids? No. No, nids are fun. In this case, they're hilariously bad. And I can't believe the stones on this guy for rocking up with those 3. That's not all of his army. It's not. There's still some left. He's got himself a second detachment, which is a patrol. He's got a Neurothrope, which is the Warlord. Thank God it's not one of the other 3 gigantic things, but okay, this is fine. He's got a Neurothrope. So we've got some Psyking, we've got some Synapse, and the reason we need that Synapse is for the 1 troops unit that he has in the army, which is a unit of Ripper Swarms, 5 Rippers. And then, because he clearly hasn't got enough giant stampy monsters, fuck it. Let's get one more in the mix, shall we? He's got a Tyrannofex with a Rupture Cannon. So it's 4 big Tyrannid beasties, 1 Neurothrope, that makes 5 things, and then to match that, 5 bases of Rippers in 1 unit. What a list. What a list. He's going to get absolutely 0 points in the primary. Oh, it's I've got this objective. Thermal Cannon says, Kachak. Wow, I love it though. I really wanted to play it. You guys know how much I love Pacific Rim and all that kind of stuff. Giant monsters fighting giant robots. This was my ideal dream matchup for first game. Get a really good fun game out of the way. And Dan's a decent guy. I played him at the last event at my local. He was playing some Dark Angels there. He had a big unit of Deathwing Knights. He loves taking 1 unit and just going, right, this is what my army is going to be entirely worked around. This one thing, and if it doesn't work, shit. But if it does work, it's going to be great fun. That's what he does. It's Pacific Rim, baby. I really hope he wins his first game by a landslide victory so that I can try and win my first game by a landslide victory and not have to try and throw my game down just to try and play him. And I would just put the theme tune for Pacific Rim on constant repeat while we play that game. It will be epic. Absolutely epic if we get to play. But I love that list. Dan, absolute lad. Fucking hats off to you. Right, next up is a guy called Duncan. Duncan has got a Custodes army that he has been painting for about 2 years. And the reason it's taken him so long is because the entire army is in non-metallic. The entire army is non-metallic. And they look great. Like I cannot fault Duncan's painting at all. Some of his blends maybe are a little less than smooth. Dino's Greek! Cheers for that follow, man. Welcome. But overall, these guys look so good on the table. You can tell he's put the work in. He's got a load of 4-year-old stuff, and they look epic. Just absolutely epic. Now he's added into that some Sisters of Silence. I'm not sure if they've been painted in the same paint scheme, but it'd be very cool if they have. So let's look at his list. He's using 1998 points of Solar Watch. So Solar Watch is not the one that everyone seems to be running right now, which is the, I'll say something like Darkstalkers or whatever, but this is slightly different. Solar Watch gives you, something to do with charges, I think. I don't remember. Zombie Brush Studios, thank you very much, dude. Khador Red is basically what's doing this. There's no real trickery to it. The oils we put down help give it a nice, like, real vibrancy, but mostly it's Khador Red being the absolute fucking beast mode red that it is. So let's look at Dunk's list. He's got a Captain Commander with Strategic Mastermind. I have no idea what that does. Can't remember. But Captain Commander is the stratagem you can use to take one of your non-named character captains and make them into like a legendary hero of the Imperium. So it's cool. It's very cool. I'm just going to grab a little bit of yellow. I'm going to pump this highlight up just a touch. Just get some Black Gitch yellow. Please do that. No, that's over orange. Have we got a yellow shell? No. So that might be Black Gitch yellow. That is not. Are these all orange? I can't have that many oranges, surely. That's Flash Gitch yellow. Sorry, got new shells. Petters! I didn't know you were here, dude. I need to talk to you about a base for Magnus as well. Good to see you there, bro. So, we've got a battalion. Custard Battalion. Got the Ambrosia. In the battalion, we have a Shield Captain on foot, with a Captain Commander Strategic Mastermind, and the Relic of Gatekeeper. What the hell is that? You can tell my Custodes knowledge is super, super bad right now. New storage, yeah. Vertically integrated shelving system for paints. It's freed up a lot of space on this desk to allow my home office to be a little bit more comfortable. And also I needed extra storage for paint anyway, and now I can just continue building should we need to. So, Dynoff, doing well, thanks mate, doing very well. Good to see you. So not sure what Gatekeeper does. We've then got another Shield Captain, Dawn Eagle Jetbike, as you'd expect, Hurricane Bolters, and the Auric Aquilis. The Auric Aquilis is the super jetbike, gives you a 3-up invulnerable save, which is pretty damn tasty on something that's got 7 wounds, decent toughness, and good mobility. He's pretty good. Pretty good. Wait! Thank you for that follow and welcome. We've then got 5 Custodian Guard with Guardian Spears, and it's a 3 Custodian Guard with Pyrothite Spears. I had to look these up. This is legit. It is a Forge World option. And they are listed now in the Munitorium Field Manual as being troops, whereas before when they came out they were elites. The blubber looks good. Blubber has never ever looked as good as this. I can attest to that. So the Pyrothite Spears are basically melter guns on a stick. So instead of having whatever your normal bolter element to the spear would be, it's instead a melter gun that hits on 2s because you're a custard. So that's okay. That's pretty alright. In what's tipped to be a very vehicle-heavy meta, and we've seen plenty of vehicles in those Death Guard lists, that's a solid choice, I think. And not something I've seen before as well, so that always makes me a little bit interested on how things are going to play out and the way things will go. We're then going into the elites. Vexillus Praetor in Alaris Terminator armor with the obvious choice of Vexilla Magnifica. And it's the Warlord. Yeah. I might have to double check that. He might have just been given a Warlord trait, which is Sally Forth, which again, I have no idea what that does. I knew about the custode stuff before Psychic Awakening, and then basically haven't really read up on them. So, gonna need to do some studying before this game with Duncan, if I end up being paired against him at any point, just in case. I don't want being caught out by stuff. Don't want that gotcha moment to be because I didn't read a book. So, there's some more reading to do. We've got to read up on salamanders, we've got to read up on custards. Might try out some P3 paints. If I was going to buy some, which ones you suggest? Say top 5 or top 10. Okay, easy peasy. Menoth White Highlight, Menoth White Base, Thramar Black, Kador Red Base, Meridius Blue, Sickly Skin, Necrotai Green, Signar Blue Highlight, and Bogrim Brown. No, oh wait, we've got one more, so Gravedigger Denim. Those are my 10. And you will not be disappointed by any of those. Some of the ones that I've listed, like Menoth White Highlight for instance, are just the craziest utility colours ever. You will use them in everything. We've used them in 3 different mixes in our highlights that we've done today, and we haven't done the bone yet. So good, mate. Sickly Skin is a brilliant way of highlighting an awful lot of stuff because it stops you from doing super pastel, and it's also a nice cold colour. There's an element of blue to it, so really, really good for a lot of stuff. What else we got? We got some Persecutors. Now this one, I do know it's not a custard. Persecutors are Sisters of Silence. Now, using the rules in Psychic Awakening, you can put Sisters of Silence into a custard detachment without breaking the detachment. You still remain custard. So you still get your +1 to your invuln saves for being a pure custard detachment and all that sort of jazz. So they're really good. For each one of those within, I want to say 12 inches of your Psyker, you're at -1 to cast. So for anyone looking to do some psychic death, that's really going to spoil your day. So be wary of that. And these have all got bolt guns and psychic grenades, which can cause, I believe, perils of the warp if they get lobbed at a psyker. So again, something there to be aware of. It's not something you would have seen very often on the tabletop, but definitely be thinking about that when you're playing Duncan, if you're playing Duncan. And then it gets pretty interesting. We've got a unit of Virtus Praetors, 4 of them. So it stays way under that blast threshold. They've all got salvo launchers. There's that anti-tank. Now, unlike the normal melter guns, which get the roll 2 dice to pick the highest speed damage, these guys get something a little bit different. They just get to re-roll wounds. That's their melter rule. Let's go for that. Dwarf Gold for our highlights. And then we will just get in there a little bit more verdigris. So we're going to do the gold. So he's got a further 4 Virtus Praetors. Then he has 2 Caladius Grav Tanks. These are fucking horrible. They're not as bad as they used to be. Both of them have twin Elastus Accelerator Cannons and twin Lastrum Bolt Cannons. So Lastrum Bolt Cannon is like a Strength 6 heavy bolter, basically, I think. The Accelerator Cannons got nerfed, and I believe they're now Strength 7, not Strength 8 they were. But yeah, they're tough. What makes them anti-tank? Well, that's a one-shot high-strength missile that's got D6 damage, so high damage, and a good -4. So that's good at anti-tank because you want something that's a large target because you've got one shot with each one of the guys in the unit, rather than something that's multi-target like a unit of boys. And you want it to have a lot of wounds so your damage characteristic does well against it, such as, for instance, attack. Right. So that is a strong list. Those fucking Caladius are the devil. If you charge them, you're at -2 to your charge because they work the same way as a repulsor does with that floaty grav bullshit. The guns are solid. They're pretty decent. They've got Power of the Machine Spirit, and there's some strat that came out in War of the Spider that you can use on vehicles that have the Power of the Machine Spirit keyword. But I can't remember what it does. I just know that I read it and thought, oh, that's really tasty, but it's only the Land Raider. And then some of the Forge World stuff started to percolate through my head, and I thought, yeah, that's do not like. But it's a good list. Custodes, very strong at the moment. They are the most improved army that went from 8th to 9th in most people's eyes. They deserve that title for sure. They get a lot of CP now. That's basically what happened. They don't have to take many battalions. They can just take one. You can throw in those sisters, which don't have OBSEC. Reasonably sure they don't have OBSEC even in this list, actually. But they are just bodies to throw on objectives, and they're cheap, so it helps pad out some of the repertoire that the Custodes players were having to use before. So it's good. I like the list. Dunker's a good player as well, so definitely somebody to watch out for. So we are 5 lists through 16. Gary 80 is next with Cult Mechanicus. So Cult got some buffs. I just got some silver from Vallejo Model A. We're going to do the few little bits of metallic grey on this. Then we'll work the horns, we'll do the weapons, and then we're onto the skin. And a little bit of work on the base still with some powders to finish this guy off this evening. Might still do some freehand, depends on how much time we've got. If we've got at least half an hour, we'll find something we can freehand on this. So start having to think for ideas. Don't shout them out in the chat just yet, but just have a think of stuff that we could do. It's going to have to be relatively simple shapes, but show me what you got. Just later, not right now. Yeah, AdMech got some buffs. They got some pretty significant buffs in Engine War. They got some really good new units. And then with the way the terrain goes, robots became super, super strong as long as the battlefield supports them. So ideally has a lot of ruins with big wide open windows that you can stand in, see through, and then just blast something off the table. Being vehicles as well, the robots you can't deal with the way you used to, which was quite simply to run up to them and just tag them. Because you would normally, as an AdMech player, have your robots in shooty mode, which basically meant that you fired twice but couldn't move at all. So as soon as you were locked in combat, you were just hitting someone with the barrel end of a gun and doing fuck all damage. But now you just go, oh, you're here. Well, here's my strat for +1 to hit. That negates the -1 to hit. So I'm still hitting you on 4s. Have, what is it, 18 shots per robot at point blank range. Rerolling all hits because I've got call. And speaking of which, he has got call. So he's got 1990 points, the lowest points total that we've seen so far. And he's rocking call, who's the warlord. Oh, sorry, who has a warlord trait, which is static Psalm code. He's got a Daedalus, who's got another warlord trait, Monitor Malevolus. And his actual warlord is an Engine Seer with one of the new triple threat warlord traits, Divinations of the Magos. So those things are pretty tasty. Let's stop the list quickly. We just need to work out how to do these weapons. Now, we mixed in a little bit of blue with our metallic before we painted these. And I think we just leave the blue on there, get some highlights in those, and then maybe do a blue wash afterwards. So we'll see how that goes. First time I've tried this kind of technique, we'll give it a shot. They are vehicles. Yeah, the Dakabots, vehicle keyword. So, if you're playing Imperial Fists, young Sam, might be nice for you. We're also going to scratch these up, I think. We could definitely do with a darker set of recesses for some of these bits of damage. So we'll get some, probably a black wash rather than a blue, just to keep them really, really, really dark. So let's see. We've got the 3 characters. Then we're moving into the troops section. Now, AdMech troops are actually horrible. Actually horrible. Hey Sam, by all means, look it up just in case I'm mistaken, but I've got a few friends that play AdMech, and the first thing that happened when vehicles shoot in combat, they're like, my god, my robots are completely safe now. Charge me, please. I dare you. Because I'll overwatch and kill half your shit, and then you won't kill me because I'm tough, and then I'll kill your shit. So, check it out by all means, dude. I don't want you to make a mistake on the day because I made a mistake today. Yeah, it's definitely some darker shadows, but I'm okay with the highlights on it. AdMech troops. We've got 4 units of 3 breachers with arc rifles. Arc rifles are fucking horrible. Arc rifles do additional damage to vehicles because they have magical powers, basically. That's it. And these are breachers. Oh, this model, this is one of the ones from the Shadespire set, the Beastgrave lot. This is the Nurgle. I can't remember what it's called. The Wormsplat. Wormsplat. Ugh. Horrible jizz stain. Wormspat. That's what we got. This is being given to Pilots Cracker 85 to go towards their D&D campaign. This was the model we gave away on the end of the month stream contest last month. If you want to win a model painted by me, !mystery in a chat, and I'll tell you how you could. There you go. So that's kind of scratched up. We're going to really darken that down, which will remove some of the blue out of the way. And it also really just sort of put in some extra oomph to our recesses we've got there. Not going to do this side at all because you can barely see the blade. So we've got 4 units of 3 Cataphrone breachers with arc rifles and arc claws. And for someone that plays knights like myself, they're fucking terrifying. Really, really terrifying. No rest on the axes. I thought about it because of the blue. It'll really pop out against the blue, but then it'll get lost in all of the rest of this. And that's one of the reasons why we did these with a blue tin, keep them nice and cold, because it then contrasts massively against the rest of the body. Everything else on this guy is very, very warm, and I wanted this to not be. The little bit of lore that I was given by Polly is that this guy is under the thrall of a lich, and as such I figured that having some sort of somewhat mystical weapon, at least something that's got some slightly otherworld properties to it, would be cool. That's why we went for the blue rather than just keeping it as like basic steel. But I don't want to do anything too crazy with it either, because if you do, then it has to be a magical weapon rather than, by the time we've done it, could just be, well, it's like cold steel or something. So reasons, there are reasons. Let's move through Gary's list though. So you've got those 3 characters. You've got 4 units of 3 breachers. Then he's got 10 Fulgurites, which are electro priests. He's got 2 units of 3 Castellan robots with phosphor. So 6 robots. Them robots, man, I'm telling you, they are gonna hurt. They're gonna really, really hurt. Could verdigris work? Yeah, it's usually kind of green or blue, and it's on a background, it's green or blue. So he's gonna darken them down as if it's like acid damage. And then we'll get some like streaking dirt in there as well. So don't worry, it's not going to be without interest. But it will just be similar to the set of colours that we've used already. If you do a Molten Blade on stream at some point, we have done, it was a while back. It's not in the VODs anymore because this was before we did YouTube. It was on the Kaitan that I showed you guys last week. Sorry, last stream, not last week. So yeah, 6 robots and then 2 flyers, 2 Archaeopter Fusiliers. So these are the gunboat flyers. And they look pretty interesting, but they're also relatively fragile. So, not sure about how they're going to do it. It's the first time I'll have seen them on the tabletop. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're good or bad. We're brand new into 9th. Who knows? Which video did you do Judy Blade in like 10 minutes using Airush? That was on a combination of maybe the first and second streams from that weekend. I think. I'm like 95% sure it was the first day, not the second day. But I think the first bit with the like getting the values down was at the start of the day when we were doing the airbrush work, and then the second bit was towards the end of the day. But it might have just been at the end of the airbrush work. We just worked around it for everything else. I can't remember, mate. I've got a little bit of dark tone on the palette. Going to thin that down with some water, and then we start blobbing this into those recesses. Seagler runs the bomber variants from the best units in 40k. Yeah, the bomber's fucking tasty because these planes can pivot during their movement. So the way the bomber goes is, let's say if we zoom out, this is your 60 by 44 foot, 60 by 44 inch table. The bomber starts here, flies over some opposing units to get inside their deployment zone here, pivots and ends up here safely out the way despite bombing that unit. So there's some real jank that you can do with them, and you can get to targets that you wouldn't necessarily think that you'd be able to. Not surprised Seagler likes them. They can to the forwards, yeah. It's a little bit like the Night Lords thing that they can do. This is something to do with their data tether or some bullshit AdMech reason for being able to do it, though. Everything AdMech sounds like bullshit. It's all true, but it all sounds like it's literally just been made up on the spot. Oh, it's my Fulgurite Electro Feather Taser Blaster. Oh, this has been revealed a lot, dude. It's a black chopping... It's not even a black chopping board. It's a blue chopping board that I bought for about 79p from Home Bargains, which is one of those like real discount stores. The sort of place you go to buy toothpaste and shower gel because you know it's Lynx and Colgate and whatnot, but it's written in Russian everywhere. It doesn't matter. You know it's legit. But this is what we use, and it just gets reprimed whenever I feel the need to. There's a little bit of Tamiya tape that just basically tells me where my frame is. And as long as it sits around there, we're golden. Like, there's no secrets to this. And then last item in Gary's list is a Dune Rider. So that's a transport. You can guarantee that those Electro Priests, those Fulgurites, are going to end up in there because why wouldn't they? You know what? I think we're going to fuck around with a different paint. We don't use this often at all. I get under the bin. That's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. Washes are here, so that means this must be... Yeah. I'm going to use something called Soft Body Black. It's from Secret Weapon. This stuff's amazing. I very rarely use it. It's a... Actually, I'll tell you what this is. This is basically black contrast paint that's been out for years. Like 3 or 4 years, easily. Way longer than contrast paint. This is basically what contrast paint is. You could slap this all over one surface, and because of the properties that the wash has, it is a wash. Oh shit, is this one of those ones where you've got to pierce the thing? I think it is. I think it is. Oh, please don't go wrong. I'd end up with this all over me if I'm not careful. No, it's just had a blockage. That's fine. Phew. But yeah, soft body black. You can use it to great effect for streaking dirt. It's ever so slightly glossy. And it's got absolute bags of pigment in it. So it really, really, really stands out. And it's a key component to the full formula of the shitty rust technique that we use. But let's just use this to get a little bit of grime on this axe blade. To darken them down a little bit. So, strong list from Gary. It's actually kind of terrifying. There's not a lot there that's super high strength, but there's a lot that just does a lot of damage. There's plenty of anti-vehicle from those arc weapons on the Cataphrons, and seeing as they're troops, they're tough as nails, they've got obsec, and if you're dealing with those, the robots are just still shooting you. With each unit will fire, 54 shots a turn at strength 6, ignoring cover. I think AP2 as well, damage 1. With Dark Tones with Corn Red, and the Zenithal-ish with Evil Sun Scarlet. What's the next step? Oil washes and a lighter colour. Chimo, depends. Do you want them to be red, or do you want them to be slightly orange? Because you can either, or slightly pink. You can basically highlight red two ways. You can go into yellow, and you end up with something that's a little bit more orange. Or you can highlight using pink, like flesh tones, and you can get something that has a slight pink finish to it by the end. That's basically the choice that you've got, is how you want your finish to be. If you want it to be red, then you darken your shadows. So you said you started with Corn Red. I'd have probably just taken red and mixed it with brown or black and given that an all over, then worked up to, I'd definitely suggest this over Evil Sun Scarlet. It's ever so slightly more red. Big fan of this colour. I've been a complete convert to this now. Right, just going to pop in a few more areas of shadow on these axes. So we're going to basically wash some of these areas with a real thin glaze, and then just drop in, stippled on with the side of the front of the brush, a few little bits of ink, just to darken down that. Look at the difference between this blade and this blade. Flat and boring, not. So Gary, strong list. Strong list. Anyone that's got massed infantry, Jake, those robots will hurt, and you'll need to kill them. I'm not sure how. Lulu, you'll probably be okay, mate. There's a lot of stuff there with a vehicle keyword, like we said, that means that your chapter tactic really comes into play. You're also tough enough as an army to be able to take it, I think, the majority of it. Just try and get your squishy units like your Marines out of line of sight of those goddamn robots, because they will ruin your fucking day. They really will. Right, moving on, we've got Gav. Gav is running Ultramarines. So Gav's already a little bit of a hero for not running one of the more bent chapters. And also not running Bobby G, which I like. No G. Let's do the horns. We're saving the skin till last because we're going to use that to clean up any mistakes that we've made. And of course, obviously, that base is going to have some weathering powders and stuff on it. Let's get the horns out of the way. We're going to use some Melith White highlight in a bit, but to begin with, we're going to grab the Melith White base, which should be about here. It is. The only thing I don't like about these shelves is that they're about, you can't see that at all. They're about the length of one of these bottles, so you reach in to grab it, and it just goes to the back and sits in that little channel. So you need to pad the back out with something about 10 mil wide, so they can't sit there, and this will just sit up, so I should be able to have a bit more control. Right, Gav and his Ultramarines. He's got 1999 points, so apparently 2,000 points on the nose is super hard to hit in 9th edition, because only Mr. Ben has managed to do it so far. He's spent 4 CP pre-game. He's got a Chapter Master, because he's a Space Marine player, and so of course he's got a Chapter Master. Why would you not? When you say Bobby G, you're referring to Rowboat Girly Man. We're referring to Reginald Graves. I don't know. Yes, Bobby G is, of course, Girly Man, Gula Man. Any other potential nicknames for the Primarch of the Ultramarines? So let's see what we got. We've got a Chapter Master with Jump Pack, Adept of the Codex, which I think is his Warlord trait, and I got a horrible suspicion that's the one that allows a unit within 6 inches to always count as being in Tactical Doctrine, but I might be wrong about that. It's been a long time since I played my Ultramarines. And for the record, I used to only play my Space Marines as Ultramarines, because at tournaments I thought it was unfair to play Iron Hands, and then I went to a tournament on my birthday which I really wanted to win, so I took them as Iron Hands and stomped everyone flat. God, it was horrible. I felt bad playing that list. That's not a fun list for anyone. So we've got Chapter Master, Jump Pack, Storm Bolter. Oh wait, no, that's the wrong one. Jump Pack, Power Fist, Storm Shield. Not springing for that Thunderhammer. Okay. Your Alfarius Ultramarines. Yeah, man, we used to take them as Ultramarines everywhere. And then I took them as Iron Hands to Big, because it was on my birthday, like I said. And then also to Warp Storm, because I didn't know what the field was going to be like. And I thought I'd just take them as a strong chapter choice. Just in case. And if the games are like beginner stages, then I'll just help my opponent out a lot and drop back some of my own offense and stuff. We've got a Lieutenant with a Chainsword, Jump Pack, Storm Bolter, Hero of the Chapter to give him the Imperium Sword for +1 strength and attack, and then he's got the Teeth of Terror. So I love this already. This is 2 very in-your-face characters. They're coming to get you. That Teeth of Terror relic is pretty damn good. I like that a lot. Gives you a load of extra attacks. You can definitely chew through some bodies. Big fan. Big fan. Then we've got a Primaris Chaplain with Recitation of Focus, Litany of Hate, and March from a Crag. So March from a Crag, just the you're an Ultramarine. Here you go, you have this anyway. Litany of Hate is the close combat one. And he's taken Recitation of Focus, which is +1 to hit the nearest enemy unit that's visible, I think. Well, that might just be +1 to hit, and the wound one was the nearest visible. Yeah, I think the wound one was the nearest visible. So, nice set of HQ choices. I like it. We've got 3 Intercessor squads. 1 unit of 6. Oh god, they're all units of 6. Okay. Someone's gone, oh, I've got some points left over. I'll make these large enough to qualify for Blast Rule. He might regret that. He might not have known, but he might regret that quite considerably. We'll see. But he's done what he's done. Here's what it is. He's then got some elite choices. Let's see what grimness we've got here. We've got a unit of 6 aggressors with Boltstorm Gauntlets and Fragstorm Grenade Launchers, which is absolutely the hotness. So, Jake, we touched on this very, very briefly last night and how gross aggressors are right now. They're So each aggressor fires 6 shots from his auto Boltstorm Gauntlets. 18-inch range, assault weapon that you can advance and not take the penalty for. It's really good. And then each person as well on their backpack has a Fragstorm grenade launcher. And a Fragstorm grenade launcher is a D6 shot weapon that's straight 4 AP, nothing, damage 1. So, you know, nothing crazy, right? It just isn't. But they gave it blast, which is a little unnecessary. Because now, against a unit of 11 or more, each aggressor fires 12 shots. And if they didn't move, or, being an Ultramarine, we're in the Tactical Doctrine, or are next to someone with the Warlord trait Adept of the Codex, so you count as being in a Tactical Doctrine, you can shoot twice. Which means that that unit will put out 144 shots in 2 sets of 72. Now, Jake, the thing that you need to remember, and this is something you definitely need to remember if you end up playing this list, is this. The number of shots don't double, it's 2 separate sets of shooting. Which means that he fires into a unit of boys, so I'm going to kill this unit of boys. The first lot does 72 shots. Just the 72 shots, that's it. The next one, if you've got any orcs left, you probably won't qualify for blast rule anymore, which means he has to roll the dice. I don't know if I'll run home while I cry. True, I guess. Gotta run up that hill though. Like, rather you than me, brother. Getting these little bones on the weird hell turkey / vulture we've got on his desk, on his base. I said desk. Not sure why I said desk. He hasn't got a desk. He doesn't really strike me as an office person. Not really. And once again, we forgot to give this guy a name. Well, I suppose he's got a name. Ghulgoch, as on the card. That's why we didn't give him a name. So that's the first of many elite choices. And that's grim, because they've all got power fists as well, so they scare the shit out of me too. We've got 2 Invicta Tactical Warsuits with Iron Hail Heavy Stubbers and the Iron Hail Autocannon. They've got Fragstorm grenade launchers as well. So they're blast too, Jake. Yay! Just getting some mouth white highlight mixed in with that mouth white base. Turn this into a nice bright highlight colour for our bone. But they're quite worrying. And they're great as Ultramarines. Simply because that's Master of Strategy. Right, what's Adept of the Codex? Because he's got Adept of the Codex. Come on, Des, you're a token Ultramarines player. Fish, that's you too. Help a brother out. What's this Ultramarine bullshit? What's this sorcery? Meanwhile, let's continue going through the elite section of this guy's list. Because wait, there's more. 5+ CP for... Oh, really? Oh shit, yeah, it's Bobby G's Warlord trait, isn't it? But why would you bother? This guy clearly thinks he's going to be using all of the strats. Maybe he will. Who knows? He might know something that I don't. He's got 2 Ven Dreads with twin las cannon, Dreadnought close combat weapon, and Stormbolter. So that's those Dreadnoughts that not only want to shoot you from far away, they want to get up in your grill and smash their fist through your face. These guys are pretty cool. They can shoot in combat as well, so this is an Ultramarines army that is going to have a large contingent of it storming its way up the board towards you. So I'm liking this so far. And then it gets a little bit off meta, but also equally it gets a bit nasty. None of the rest of that was nasty. It didn't affect my army very much, but this is nasty. It's a unit of 3 Centurion Devastators with the Grav. Then a Contemptor Mortis Dreadnought with 2 sets of twin las. Tempter Mortis is right now the heat. They're good. They're good. There's a lot of pain coming from that. 4 las cannons. That thing's got to be shut down quick. For my army, at least, that's my thoughts on that. And I imagine that anyone else that's got a vehicle in the list is like, damn, I need to kill that motherfucker. But it hits on 2s, and with that chaplain, it could even ignore a -1 and still hit on 2s with the recitation of focus. So there's some definite DACA to this list. He's got lots of anti-infantry, he's got lots of anti-tank. This is a really nicely balanced Ultras list. And he can fall back and shoot if he needs to. So you can't even trap him by going, right, well, you're going to have to shoot this unit because you're now in combat with me and that's all you've got. You can just go, yeah, cool, that's great. I'm going to just chill out over here for a second for my movement phase, then I'm going to blow you away. So this is a good list, and because it's Marines, don't count it out. This could be a contending list to do well and maybe even win the event. Grav is, for those guys, 4 shots apiece. No, 3 shots apiece, I think. Was it 4? Yeah, I think it's 4. I think it's 4 shots apiece for Grav Cannon and Grav Am. And with the strat, you get full rerolls. And that's wounds and damage. It's rough. It's rough. But good list. Good list from Gav. Mr. Hobo J. Jacob, who's also got a 2,000 point list on the nose. Right, we're now going to do the skin. We're going to get this bit out of the way first, the guts, and do the rest of the skin, his teeth, his little bit of dribble. And then we've just got the base to do with some pigments, and this guy's done, which is good because we are probably not going to have time to do any freehand. But let's see what we can do with this purple. I've got a purple shelf here. I think that is the one that we want. Yep, Bad Bruise from P3. Dude, the Judicia I think is a great mini. Loads of conversion opportunities there. Right, into the Bad Bruise. We're going to mix this up with a little bit of Arcadal Red. So we're going to see how this goes together because it might not do so well. But a little bit of Arcadal Red. And then a little bit of Menoth White base. So we're looking for a kind of lavender-ish colour. A little bit more purple, a little bit too high with that. A little bit more red to give it some warmth. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that's nice. That looks like a very inside colour. Guts. Black. Grav devs are horrendous. So Jake's got 8 CP at the start of the game. He's got a patrol with the biggest boss, because that's currently better than Ghazghkull, which is a shame because Ghazi is amazing, but this is just better. Right, we're just going to paint the majority of these tubes with this. Going to leave a lot of purple in the recess, but we're just going to get a good covering with these on these sausages, so we can get some ridged highlights down there. Show some texture on these in a second. So Jake's got Evil Sons Battalion. Wait, it says patrol detachment, 2 CP, battalion detachment. Did you change this at some point? I think you might have done. But you get your points refunded back for this anyway. Oh, I see. No, I get it. I totally get it. That's the CP you spent. So you get your CP refunded from this. You got a war boss on Warbike with brutal but cunning, the biggest boss, the Killer Claw. This guy is an absolute nightmare to anyone that plays knights. And anyone that has large amounts of vehicles that they like to not die. It's horrendous. It's absolutely horrendous. This guy will charge towards you, and bear in mind you can advance and charge on the bike that he's got. When he gets to you with the requisite buffs, he can be strength 14. Super hard to get to strength 16 though. Apparently there's a way, but it's a lot of investment. But it doesn't really matter, because when this guy gets to combat, he's going to hit you like 6 or 7 times on 2s, re-rolling. Then he's going to wound you if you're toughness 8 on 3s, re-rolling. If you're not, on 2s, re-rolling. And he does flat 4 damage. It's horrid. It's horrid. Now this guy fortunately can't fight twice, because he's not infantry. But if you kill him, you can fight after death for a measly 2 command points. Which is pretty clutch, let's be honest here. There you go, we've got guts that look a bit like guts. Bloody horrible that looks. I have, unfortunately, touched another man's intestines. Through his stomach. There was somebody that was stabbed when I worked at a restaurant in Cheltenham. He walked around the corner, slumped against the wall, and we asked him if he was all alright. And have you missed your pals? You might have done, actually. You have to watch back the VOD tomorrow. And while we were waiting for the ambulance to come, I had to hold his sausages in, basically. That was pretty gross. It was a bad day. Very bad day. So let's see what else is in Jake's list. He's got the War Boss. He's got a Weird Boy with Warpath and another Weird Boy. The Warpath guy's got the Jump and Warp head. The non-warp, that's why. That's annoying. There we go. The non-warp head guy's got Fists of Ghulgoch, which is super, super, super good. Right, we need some flesh tones. We want to get some Kislev flesh. Will do quite well, and some sickly skin going on. Let's get a good mix of this on the palette. Kislev flesh has got this ever so slightly yellow tone to it. Have I played Orcs in Night? I played against Orcs in Night. I haven't played Orcs. Played Jake's Orcs. It went really well. Not for him. Troops. We've got 3 units of boys. It's 30 boys per unit. 10 of them have got shooters. Shooters! The rest of them have got Slugger and Chopper. The big man in the unit has, of course, got the Power Claw. There's that 3 times. There's a Pain Boy. And then Jake's signature, essentially. 12 Smasher Guns. 3 units of 4. Smasher Guns are very random. I'm telling you, though, when they work, fuck, do they work. When they don't, you need to be able to duck really fast, because it's going to be a dice. Kapow! It's been known to happen. Jake plays Orcs like everyone else plays craps. You know, it's got to hit 3 walls before it hits the floor. So, he's then got a patrol detachment. These are the Boom Boys, so a different clan. We had Evil Sons as our first clan, Boom Boys as our second clan. And the Boom Boys have got a Weird Boy, so that's a 3rd Weird Boy. This one's also got Fists of Ghulgoch, so some redundancy being built in there. Doesn't want that one guy to explode through Perils of the Warp, or just accidentally leave him in the open and be sniped. Because that could happen. That could happen. He's got 19 grots in a unit, which he somehow managed to completely hide from Ben when they played last night. I still am not sure how that happened, but they were completely hidden. Right, let's try this on an area that's not the front. Let's see what this is gonna do for our skin. Just looking to emphasize some of those shadows a little bit between this highlight and the next one, and I think we're in a good place with it. Yeah, I can live with this. This is alright. He's then got a unit of tank busters. I love tank busters. There's 15 of them, including the boss knob, all with rocket launchers. And these worry me as a knight player, because they can evaporate a knight. They just can. So yeah, not looking forward to seeing them come down from a teleport and suddenly, bam. Yeah, sorry about the hair, but we were focused on the skin. So sometimes it happens when we have to get laser focused in on something. So Jake, I think it's a good list. I think if we played, there's enough there to make me concerned for a turn or two. And if I manage to deal with those, then I'd be okay. If I don't, then you've won the game. So yeah, this is a strong list, mate. I know you've had some one-sided games both ways with this, and I imagine that's taught you quite a lot about how to play both this list and just a little bit more about how to play in 9th in general. Also, something to note for anyone that is in the chat that's turning up on Sunday, we have a lot of line of sight blocking terrain. So regardless of what other keywords the terrain gets given, and you'll all see this on Saturday evening when I publish a picture of the tables with the terrain laid out and its keywords written next to it. There still isn't a humongous amount of like just see from the other side of the board. There's not that many ruins that have got holes in them, for instance. So definitely something to be aware of. But yeah, good list, mate. I really like it. I think you're going to have, depending on the luck of the dice with those smasher guns, either something really great happen or something go a bit wrong. And that's just orcs. The way that your list is written, that's just orcs. So good luck, champ. I think you've got a solid chance of doing well at the weekend. As long as you don't come up against that fucking horrible Ultramarines army we just talked about. Because that will ruin you. Then we've got a guy called James. James is playing Tau. So John, this is one of your mates. And this is the only Tau list at the event. Which is a bit of a departure from 8th, where Tau were becoming extremely popular, mostly due to the fact that Richard Siegler is an amazing player and found a way that Tau could beat Space Marines, and then unfortunately found that Possessed could beat Tau, and so he started playing Space Marines, which was a great loss for anyone that was a Tau fanboy, I'm sure, but equally he wanted to win the LVO, and he did, so do one. If he'd lost, then by all means, like, give him a bit of a poke and a ribbing, you know. But yeah, the guy's a fucking machine. So fair play to him. So in this list, we have a Tau set with Shadow Sun as our HQ. This is a battalion. We've got, sorry, it's a patrol. We've got a Ethereal with Nonablade. Shadow Sun is the Warlord and has her own Warlord trait of being Shadow Sunny, I guess. I don't know what the Tau Warlord trait is. But she's Shadow Sunny. That's it. Peckish! Wagwan! How you doing, bud? We've got, in the troop choice, 1 unit of 5 Fire Warriors. That's it. That's all the Fire Warriors in the entire list. Who needs Fire Warriors? You don't make friends with Fire Warriors. So, the Fire Warriors have literally just got their pulse rifles, so no drones or anything. We've got 2 elite choices that are exactly the same. Oh shit, no they're not. 2 elite choices, they're both Riptides. One's got the heavy burst cannon, one's got the amplified ion accelerator, so the relic version of that gun. Light burr, which is basically what the little Gatling cannon does. Thank you for that follow. Well done, Hobo Joe. I'm doing well, dude. I'm doing very well. Thank you for asking. So, 2 Riptides. They've got 2 smart missile systems, counter-fire defense system on the Ion, and ATS as well on the burst cannon one. So, yeah. Riptides are still business, guys. They still are absolutely one of the best units in that Tau Codex. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that, but it's true. They can shoot in combat. They put out a fuck of a lot of shots, and with that Ion, That's pretty good. That's like essentially the Tau's version of the Hammer of Sunderance. So it's rough. It is rough. Oh, we got Bellfight here as well. Awesome. You've been an absolute champ, mate, with these shoutouts. Thank you very, very much. Riptides do look cool. They're one of my favourite looking things in the Tau army for sure. So you got the 2 Riptides. That must be all of the grossness, right? No. No. We've got some drones squads, as you'd expect. Mr. Knight 999, thank you for that follow and welcome. So we've got some drones units. You can't really have a Tau army without having drones. I'm going to highlight this as skin for now. I know it's drool, but we need to work out how to paint drool to be somewhat transparent. And I think we might go with a sort of yellowy hint to it. 2 units of drones. One is 5 shields and 4 markers. The other is 5 and 3 markers. These are the only marker lights I've seen in the list so far. So not a humongous amount of marker light support, but there are some stratagems to help out with that. So you never know. You might get to that magical +1 to hit. But frankly, do you really need it? Now you can move and shoot with your tides and so on. Do you need it? I don't think so. Fucking helps though. And obviously the things are capped at +and -1 and stuff as well. That really, really helps you out too. Doing this around the cut, we're going to keep our highlights really small. But what we will do is maybe come back in with a little red glaze on top of it to still give them that slightly bright but rent flesh look to them. This guy's not having a good day. Guts are out. He's got... Oh, God, he's got belly button jizz. What is this? What... Oh, he's got a leaky belly button. What? Look. He's got an outie. This is horrendous. Most Nurgle thing I've ever seen. So we've got, obviously, those units of drones, and then here comes the pain. Here comes all the pain. Not a fan of this, I can tell you. 2 units of 3 broadsides, every single one of them with all of the missiles on. These guys put out something stupid like 48 shots a unit, I think. It is gross. It is absolutely gross. And they do damage. They can shoot without needing line of sight with the SMS. They're fucking horrifying. On the plus side, there are only 20 shield drones in the list. No, he's running Tau Sept with Shadow Sun. Because I suppose at least that way the Overwatch is what's really going to do it. But if he'd been running Hardened Warheads, then... Hardened Warheads is an additional -1 AP on anything that's like a rocket weapon, basically, guys, if you don't know. And as all of these guys fire missiles, i.e. rockets, it's grim. Very, very grim. But playing Tau, so we're okay. Deck Flow! Dude, thank you very much for that raid. How are you doing, man? How is your stream? Let's get some love in the chat for Deck Flow. What were you working on, buddy? We're working on this Nurgle-inspired Barbarian. Foxart! Thanks for that follow. And also going through the lists for the tournament I'm running this Sunday at my local, so that people that fancy a little bit of competitive 40k chat can get some. Because why not? Why not? I'm just mixing some sickly skin now in with that Keslevite flesh. I'm going to use this as a nice sort of peaky highlight to make this guy really pop. Doing Necro Sphinx. Oh, hot damn, man. That's a blast from the past. And M. Peters getting that hype going on. Thank you, bud. Holy shit, that's awesome, Chief. Can't buy that anymore. Can't buy that anymore. It's OOP. Unlike this town army, which is just slightly OP. I'm hoping, because there's only 20 shield drones, we can chew through them nice and quick. And be okay if we end up playing that list. But that's fucking horrible. Right, let's do all of his spots. Let's do a few bits around his guts to make them stand up a bit. And we'll do... Oh shit, just covered up that horrid wart that he's got. There you go. Let's move on to the next list though. We are now on to me and my Imperial Knights. This will be really, really quick because most of you know my list already. It's 2,000 points on the nose. It is 3 Knight Crusaders, all as Housecrast. There is 1 unit of 2 Armiger Helverins, 1 unit of 1 Armiger Helverin. They're all crashed, all in the same detachment, because there's no need to be paying CP that you don't need to be spending. I need those for every other fucking thing else. We've got, on our Warlord, the Armour of Sainted Iron for a 2-up armor save. And then, for the first time ever, thought I'd try this one out. We've got Cold Eradication from the Engine Warbook. Cold Eradication's a really, really interesting warlord trait. Every time you fire a weapon that's got a random number of shots, you roll 1 extra d6 and you discard the lowest. So that means your thermal cannon's got a much, much better chance of hitting those high numbers. And you need those. Because if you make a few too many dice rolls that are bad as a Knight's army, then things go south pretty damn fast. But that's a good way of not needing to spend those CP during the game. We're alright with that. We like it. We've then got a Daka Knight who has the Housecrast Warlord trait, First Knight, for reroll 1s. Only source of reroll 1s that you can get apart from a Preceptor, which is a shit way to get reroll 1s because it costs you 400 points for a buff on just your Helverins for a Knight that's then out of range of everything he wants to shoot at. But, you know, that's the only other option we've got. He's got reroll 1s with First Knight, and he's got the Endless Fury Gatling Cannon because it's super good in a lot of situations. Do I ever use Warglaives? I have. I've used them once and was so utterly underwhelmed by them that I will never use them again. Helverins are the way, my friend. I'll explain why in a sec. Now that I know my opponent is here and he's listening to my game plan. So here you go, John. This one's for free. Our third knight is all the defensive buffs. He's got the 5-up invuln save, Sanctuary. He's also got the Iron Bulwark 4-up invuln save from shooting, so don't need to rotate on him, which is really, really useful, especially in the later stage of the game where you may not have the CP to do all the interesting things. I've used Moiraxes. I want to, but I want to use the close combat one, Claw and Volkite. But I'm just currently not picking them up. I like Helverins. Honest to God, guys, Helverins are the second best unit in the Knight Codex. Seriously, you will win games because of Helverins and not because of Crusaders, which are the best unit in the Knight Codex. So the reason Helverins are so good is because they're flat 3 damage, right? On 4d3 shots, which is going to average out to 8 more often than you think. And that flat 3 damage removes Custodes, Aggressors, Eradicators, Jumpy Dudes. There's so many things out there with 3 wounds that you just drop. And they've got an amazing range, like 60-inch range. So as long as you've got line of sight, you're hitting your target and you're taking it down. And if that unit that you're shooting at has got 6 models or more, one of your Halverins just shits 12 shots. It's that simple. It's just that here you are, mate, have 12 shots, off you go. And that's it. Something is dead. Something is just dead. Halverins are super good. They're very, very fast. You need them to be holding objectives because you want your Crusaders up in their face. And if they're dealing with your Halverins, they're not dealing with your Crusaders, which means you're going to shoot them and stamp on them. Power of Greyskull! 79. Thank you very much. Welcome to the stream. And if they're dealing with your Crusaders, they're not dealing with your Halverins, you're scoring points. It means you force your opponent to bad decisions every single turn. So that's my list. I think that's a very strong list. I think that's the strongest you can make a knight list. And then my opponent for game 1, Mr. Uriel Ventry from the chat, occasionally known as Dr. Thong, with reasons. I can't discuss them on stream. I have signed an NDA. Oh. I'd kill the Silent King with Halverins, because he's got fly. Reroll hits. So John's got a really interesting list, and John always brings interesting lists to events. Let's get some yellow and do his... Oh, his fucking belly button jizz as well. I forgot about that. Look. 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 So just give it a base coat of yellow. We'll thin it down because it will glaze in quite nicely over the light colours we've already got there. To paint belly button jizz. So John's list. He's playing Eldari. He's got 2 detachments. He starts with 6 CP. And he's using some custom detachment traits. He's got the I'm always in cover. And he's got the I reroll a hit and a hit and a wound every time one of my units shoots. It does look grim. You can't even argue it's dripped out of his mouth because there's a little recess here. Blech. Blech. Sound like Jimmy from fucking South Park. Blech. Oh, Wendy, Stan wanted me to tell you that you're a cunt. You're a cunt. You're cunt. That's one of my favourite bits of South Park ever. Just mix this in with some sickly skin because we want to keep this nice and cold, and it will just highlight this nicely. And by nicely, I mean make it look fucking horrible. Ugh, dribbly belly button. So John's list. He's got a HQ that I imagine most people have never seen. This is a Wraithseer. Wraithseers are a Forge World unit that has a lot of weird things going for it. So on the data sheet it says it's toughness 7, but in the FAQ they made it toughness 8 for no reason. So here, have toughness 8. Cool. What have we got left to paint on this guy? I'm just rattling on, but I'm sure we've got more painting to do. Is he done? No, we can't be done. Teeth. This is going to be fun, isn't it? Right, Mouth White highlight. Don't you give him white teeth. Not even pearly white. It's going to give him pearly-ish ivories. So Wraithseer is a Psyker, but can only cast 3 spells. And from what I can see, John, none of them are any good in this list. Because none of them can affect anything that you have apart from one spell, which is the Enliven one. But it is what it is. This is sick, by the way. This is sick. I like this a lot. Wraithseers have 2 weapons. They've got a great big close combat like sword, like a glaive. And they also have a D cannon. So a D cannon is a strength 12 -4 D6 one-shot heavy weapon. I think. And so that's pretty terrifying. That's pretty terrifying. But that's nothing. That's nothing. For those of you that have been playing your Marines and you've gone, oh, I tell you what, mate, I really, really love my snipers. They're brilliant at killing characters. You know nothing. Because the other thing that John has done is he's given his Warlord the Implacable Hunter Warlord trait, which means his Warlord ignores the Lookout Sir rule. So he's got a D cannon sniper rifle. He's going to snipe you with his D. And that will ruin so many characters. Because the best thing about a D weapon is it doesn't need line of sight. It's got a non-loss needed strength 12 -4 D6 damage sniper weapon. Best reply in the chat. He fucking what? Yes, mate. I didn't stutter. Right, gonna get a little bit of wash on there. So I'm gonna really, 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 my god, so really thin down some of this black wash that we've got and just let it pool in some of those recesses on the teeth. And we might have to do this a couple of times, but it's all good. Just let it dry for a bit. So yeah, Wraith Seers. He's got 2 of them in this detachment. One of them's his Warlord. It's got a Phoenix Gem, so when you kill it on a 2+, it stands back up. Then, John, would you like to tell the people in the chat how many Guardians you have? Tell them how many Guardians you've got, John. It's a nice round number. John's got 0 Guardians, everyone. None. No Rangers, no Dire Avengers. He's got no troops. And the reason that John's got no troops is because he's actually running 2 Spearheads. And the reason he's running 2 Spearheads is because John is going to play Mech Eldar. And so... and so in his fast attack slots, he's got Hornets. We've got 2 star cannons. Hornets are lightning fast little skimmers, right? And with the 2 star cannons, each one's putting out, I think it's 3 strength 6 -3 D3 damage shots. Then he's got 3 Falcons with star cannons and twin shuriken catapults. Then he's got 3 fire prisms with, of course, a fire prism cannon. Then he's got another spearhead with another Wraith Seer, another Hornet with 2 star cannons, 3 units of heavy support weapons with the Shadow Weaver, so that's the like non-line of sight like mortar thing that on 60s to wound is -4 because monomolecular wire just cuts through you. 1 unit of 2, 2 units of 1. Then 2 Warwalkers, 1 with double star cannon and 1 with double Eldari missile launcher. Shova Dawn, thank you very much for that follow and welcome to the stream. So the reason Ix, I don't know if he has played at Glasshammer. It wouldn't surprise me if he has. You play at Glasshammer? Because I might know you. So yeah, Mech Eldar with, remember, every single one of those units of one thing gets to reroll a hit roll and a wound roll every turn. Ugh. It's pretty gross. It's pretty gross. I just received a message saying I may have not counted correctly the number of drones on this list. I get 5, 10 shield drones there, 5, 10 shield drones there. I only get 20 drones. Your mate... I don't think we're on the same page. He says he's got 30 odd drones, he's got 5 shield per broadside squad. We've got 10 between both of his broadsides. Then 10 between the tactical drones. So still only 20 shield drones, which is what I was talking about. So I think he's thinking I counted the Markalite ones as well. But no. 20 shield drones. Who cares about the rest? Shield drones are the devil. That fucking 5-up Feel No Pain comes up more often than you'd think. I don't play last night. It was a list which sounded like it's playing. Oh, yeah, definitely Gaz. Gaz loves his fucking mech-dar bullshit. He's a good player with it as well. I've yet to play him, but I'd love to. I know which way the match would go, but it would be a great game. So let's look at Mark Ernie. Mark is somebody I've known for a while now. He plays at Bristol Independent Gaming quite a lot. It's a great venue. We've got a couple of trophies from him. Actually, we've got one of the cup there is, well, you can't see it, it's off screen. But there's a nice little cup for winning the title on my birthday. Oh, M. Peters, Mike, that's a cheer. Dude, thank you. Like, cheers, brother. Right, got a little bit of primer. Because we're going to prime this mini. But just his base. We're going to base rip. Oh, and Shovadorn getting a Twitch Prime subscription on. Thank you very much. Did I do some painting for Mark? I did do some painting for Mark. We did a Repulsor Executioner, which was fun. I like painting marine tanks because they're simple. They're just boring. You can turn your brain off and just get on with it. I just make some flow improver into this, not thinner, because it was on my desk. I'd normally use thinner, but it was in a drawer. That's the only reason. I'm going to paint the base rim, and then we're going to do a little bit of work with some powders, and then this guy is done. We're going to go into the whip after that, but we're still going to go through the rest of these lists. So even if we're here for a while after we would normally have finished painting, we'll run late. It doesn't matter. It's Friday tomorrow. It's a short day at work. We're okay. So Mark's list. Mark's taking the Supreme Command because Mark's got Bobby G. Robert is here. So this Supreme Command, he's got Bobby G. That's it. That means he gets 3 CP for having Bobby G as his Warlord. And he gets 3 CP back for the battalion that he bought. Which means that Mark starts the game with 15 CP. He then spends quite a few of those. He goes down to 9 at the start. So he's hopefully making good use of those CP. We'll let this dry naturally while we read this list. We've got, in the battalion, 2 extra relics. He's used Hero of the Chapter to give his Tech Marine a Master of the Machine Warlord trait. And the relic Seal of Oath. Seal of Oath is pretty grim, right? That's the one where you fucking flip a switch and something absolutely horrible happens. But I can't remember what it is. He's used Stratagem, Master of the Forge. He's used Stratagem, Chapter Ancient. And he's used Stratagem, Chief Apothecary. So Mark has gone full ham with characters here. He's also thrown in a cheeky Vindicare Assassin. We've got Cassius with the Litany of Faith, Recitation of Focus, Litany of Hate, and March from a Crag. He's got Chief Librarian Tigerius, Precognition, Scryer's Gaze, and Psychic Shackles. She's got Tiggy, Cassius, Bobby G. He is representing the Ultramarines High Command here. This is great, I love it. This third HQ in there is that Tech Marine. As we know, Master of the Machine, that's pretty damn good. Especially with Master of the Forge Warlord trait, where your tanks just hit on 2s, basically. So that's it. Yes, it's fucking Old Grudges, basically. That's the one. That's the one. So Seal of Oath suddenly makes everything a little tasty. Yeah, not fun, that. Not fun at all. Moving through. We've got a unit of infiltrators, 4 and the boss, with the bolt carbines. We've got an intercessor squad, which is 6 people again. Got another intercessor squad, which is 6 people again. Don't do it, guys. Don't do it. It's going to go bad. We've got an aggressor squad of 3 aggressors and the sergeants, for 4 in total, with the grenades on the backpack and the boltstorm gauntlets, so they're pretty damn grim. We've got a Primaris Ancient with the Standard of Righteous Hatred, and I don't know what that one does. Really don't know what that one does, but okay. And the Chapter Ancient buff from Psychic Awakening. We've got Primaris Apothecary with Healer's Aegeus as a relic, which he paid for earlier on. And that is Chief Apothecary to allow him to have that relic as well, I guess. He's got a Vendread with Missile Launcher and Twin Las Cannon, an Eliminator Squad with Camo Cloaks, and then, something you really don't see very often, a Demos Pattern Relic Predator with Autocannon and 2 Heavy Bolters, and a Predator with Autocannon and 2 Las Cannons. So double pred, a load of elite choices by way of some supporting characters, a load of HQs, which means, Mark, you currently have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. You currently give away max points for Headhunter. So you need to look after those characters, mate. Otherwise, this will go south in points for you pretty quickly. And there's not a humongous amount of stuff there to bodyguard those characters. So if that stuff drops, you need to watch out. Assassinate, yes, it could be that. Whatever, headhunt, kill characters. That's the one. Moving on to the next list, we've got Nathan Whitbread with some Cult Mechanicus. Now Nathan knows, he is aware that the event is using all of the points for the mission from Chapter Approved, and that includes those 10 points for Is Your Ship Painted. Nathan knows this. Nathan even told me at the start, when we published the event in the shared chat channel that we're in, I was really interested in coming until I saw that. I think that's really, really bullshit that you're allowing people to bring unpainted armies and take the 10-point penalty. Well, you know, we've got a few local lads that probably want to come that maybe don't have all of their stuff painted and based to a... Oh, my painting standard is a little higher in the tournament pack, don't you worry. It's painted and based entire army to a coherent and recognisable tabletop standard. It's not just, there's 3 colours on a mini. I sprayed it a few bits and pieces with a couple of router cans I had lying around. It's not just that. So Nathan... Oh, I know you're not worried about me. I'm saying that in the rules pack that I've written, it's not just get your 3 colours down. It's got to be... Do you need to base the drones on flight stance? No. No, don't worry about that, mate. Because they've got a clear plastic base, so that's totally fine. There's no issue with that. Even things like... so you're thinking like hammerheads and whatever, the tanks, the clear plastic bases, don't worry. The custode stuff, that's the bikes, clear plastic bases, don't worry. Again, we'll let that dry, we'll get some powders going on. So we'll move some of this out of the wet. Start getting some of our shitty brushes. And get the powders down. Now, one of the best things about this new desk is that all my powders are here now, and not in a box buried under there. I really like it. Unfortunately, I am going to have to just drag all of them out to get what we want. We're going to have some of that, I think. That looks really cool. We're going to have, not oranges, but no, yellow. Double black. Well, a little bit of dirt, dark earth, and that might actually be enough. No, I want the green. We had a really nice green, which might have been Crumbler. Or it might have been the one I accidentally gave away to John. Please don't be. Cock. John, you've got a really nice green pigment. No, it's just too dark over there. That's our really nice green pigment. Never mind. Never mind. Got a green pigment. Got a dark earth. He's what I'm going to use. I'm going to grab a crappy brush. One that's been beat up. Maybe not that one. Still got some life as an oil brush. What else we got? So, one crappy brush. Start off with a dark earth, and we're just going to get a few splodges of this around his base while we read Nathan's list. So Nathan knows all of this. He knows I must bring a painted list if I want my 10 points. And Nathan is bringing a unpainted AdMech list that he's currently working on. He's trying very hard to get at least the minimum standard down, but it's unlikely to happen given the time frame. And that's a shame, but he knew about this right from the get-go, so it's on him. So we're just going to pop this in around some of the rocks that we've got here. We're probably not going to do all of them, and we're not going to really try and coat the base with it. We airbrushed a lot of the base to give it a bit of a sort of... We went for like a winter quarry, so... What was the name of the relic on that Ultramarine Ancient? Oh, I can't remember. It was the Banner of Righteousness or some bullshit. First Ancient, Standard of Righteous Hatred. I was actually close. I was close. Right, let's look at Nate's list. So Nate's list is 1993 points. What is it with these people that can't spend their points effectively? Like, god damn it, guys, get a grip. Come on, 2,000 points is 2,000 points. If I, with the least granular army in the game, can make it, you can make it. No, the banner is the standard. Right, do we need any more of this? A little bit. Get in here. Around the dead bird. Let's cover up the bird a little bit. Dirty it down. Oh. So, in his list, he's taking AdMech as well, and he's got two different sub-factions. He's got Mars and Stiggy's 8. He's got Belisarius Call, and he's got a Tech Priest Manipulus, which is the Warlord, with Divinations of the Magos and the trait Ramian of the Technomartyr. So that's the usual ones you're going to see now from AdMech. That Divinations of the Magos is like the triple threat Warlord trait that you can give them from Engine War. It's really good, but I can't remember all three of the components of it. He's also got heavily into Cataphron Breaches and has 2 units of 3. Ah, god damn it, they're going to suck the fun out of the event if I have to play him. They're so horrible. They are so horrible. Right, we're putting down a little bit of this green powder. Look at how vibrant a mank that looks now. I really like this stuff, but you've kind of got to go on it a bit sparingly. It's really good for putting in... oh, fuck, I should be wearing the mask. Okay, we haven't got much of this to do. It's fine. We're stuck now. It's really good for putting on things like lichen and moss and stuff. Oh, brilliant. They shoot back on 2s. Great. They still only shoot back on 4s, but when they shoot back on 2s. That's not so bad, but it is what it is. Right, so he's got 2 units of Breachers. That's great. He's then got a unit of 2, 3, 4, 5 Iron Strider Ballistarius. These are the Chicken Walkers. These are one of my favourite things ever. I just think they're awesome. They're absolutely awesome. You've missed some of the list review, but we're still doing them. You will be able to find it all in the VOD over on YouTube. That's pretty much all we've talked about is the lists. Very little painting talk tonight, mostly list talk. And we're going through Nathan Whitbread's at the moment. We're in alphabetical order as well, so if you stick around, yours might come up if you're after that. He's then got 2 Onaga Dune Crawlers with the Icarus array. So that's the anti-air version. Not what most people would expect to see. But because of the maximum -1, I think you might start seeing these more often than not just thrown in. And there's an awful lot of stuff in the game that has the fly keyword as well, so anyone playing Tau is going to have plenty of things with the fly keyword. Anyone playing Marines is likely to have things with the fly keyword. Impulsors spring to mind immediately. Suppressors, that sort of thing. So, not a bad choice. And with Call as well, you reroll hits. You don't reroll failed hits, you reroll hits. Oh, it's you! It's you, Nathan. Well, we did start off by talking about how you gave me shit for allowing people to bring lists that weren't fully painted, and then are now bringing a list that will almost certainly not meet the tabletop criteria that's written in a rule pack. So do go and read the rule pack before you try and get them all nailed on. We've then got a patrol of Stiggy's 8. We've got a Tech Priest Engine Seer with a free Warlord trait, a bought Warlord trait, Prime Hermeticon. Nathan, what does that do? What does that do? What is a Prime Hermeticon? A unit of Rangers, because he needs them. 2 units of Fulgurite Electro Priests, 1 of 10 with staves and 1 of 9 with staves. A unit of Petraxi Sterilizers. So these are the flying around guys with flamers, right? These are sick. These are just awesome. They look great. They're just cool. So I like this. And then the bit that I dislike a little bit intently, the Termite Assault Drills. These are pretty horrible. They will mash you up in combat. They've got melter like beams on them, and they've got heavy flamers. They're nasty. Is a good word to use for them. They're just nasty. So it's a good list, Nate, and I am not sure how it would go if we played. I'm just not. There's not a humongous amount of wounding me on 4s or better, but there's a lot of damage. Agrivar, WPG, thanks for that follow and welcome. Right, we're nearly closing in on the end of the lists. We've got 3 left to do. This is a guy called Nick. Nick I've played at one event. Nick beat me in that event, but I actually ultimately went on to win the event because he didn't read the rules pack, which is something that you should always do. The way you won the event was by counting up all of the points you'd scored in every game, adding them together, and that was your final total. Win or loss didn't really matter. It was there for tiebreaker. And Nick took an army that was extremely brutal and efficient. It was a Thunderfire Cannon, an Executioner, a Leviathan, a Tech Marine, and a Captain. That was it. Which meant he absolutely smashed everyone, every game, but he didn't score many points. Whereas I took Ultramarines and I took the board every game and I scored loads of points and only lost to Nick's horrible, horrible list. So Nick's a power player for definite. He is taking Salamanders, and I guarantee you they're painted as Iron Hands. If the meta is here, Nick is one of those. So, Sally's. He's got a Captain, Jump Pack, Storm Shield with the Imperium Sword Warlord trait, plus 1 attack and strength. Thunderhammer, Vulcan Sigil, no idea what that does. This is his Warlord. So, Vulcan Sigil is like you throw it up in the air and you get like a bubble of plus 1 attack for a bit. It's good, it's not bad. He's got a unit of Intercessors. He's got 5 Intercessors, as is the Wave. He's also got a Thunderhammer on his Sergeant. He's got 2 units of Blade Guard Vets. These are the first Blade Guards that we've seen. Their Mastercrafted Power Swords are pretty legit. I like those a lot. He's got 2 Eradicator Squads. He's playing Salamanders. Why has he not got 3? Please don't take 3, Nick. Please, dear God, don't take 3. But it gets worse. He's then got 2 drop pods. So far we've seen no mini marines. Why are there drop pods? Why are there drop pods? He's got 2 impulsors with shield drones. Oh, actually no, wait, he's got 3. That makes sense. You've got your honor guards, you've got your eradicators, you want to keep them safe. I totally get it. We're on board. We've then got another detachment, a patrol detachment, with a captain and a Primaris Librarian. The Primaris Librarian has got Fire Shield and Drake Skin. But he's also carrying, for 1 command point, the Tome of Malkador. The Tome of Malkador is extremely important. Because the Tome of Malkador lets you have 1 power from the Marine discipline in the book. Not from your other discipline. Which means you get to take Might of Heroes. And Might of Heroes is super good. Super good. Eradicators can't ride impulsors. Really? Really? Interesting. So you got 2 more units of intercessors. Again, 5-man Thunderhammer. A 3rd Blade Guard veteran squad. So maybe this is where those impulsors are coming in. All of that. Oh, they got Gravis, of course. But the Blade Guard vets don't have Gravis. They've just got Moon Boots. So. But then here we go. Here's the Mini Marines. We've got 2 Devastator squads with Armorium Cherub with 4 Grav Cannons per unit. And I bet you he drops 1 on turn 1, uses a strat, kills the thing, drops another 1 at turn 2, uses a strat, kills the thing. And that's pretty fucking simple, the way the list is going to work. It is nasty. This is a list that I think on paper I lose against, which means I have to outplay Nick by a significant margin to try and win this game. Which will start the outplaying when I start trying to win by more points than him, by enough to have somebody else in there between him and me, so I play them instead, or lose by not as many and try and just dodge him. We're going to start with that. That's extremely tactical. If anybody ever asks you mid-game how many points you're on, lie. Just lie, because they don't want to play your army. And they're trying to work out whether they need to play harder or ease back a little bit in the points to stop having to play your army. So always just lie. So that's a horrible list. That's going to cause a lot of people a lot of problems. Right, on to the penultimate list, and we've got 2 Sams. So the first one is in the chat. It's Lulu. Here you go, buddy. So as you're in the chat, let's go through this one. We've got some Imperial Fists at 1992 points. You've got 8 points left. Spend them on something, for Christ's sake, kid. Find a way. You've got a battalion of Imperial Fists. And to be fair to him, they're all painted yellow as well. These are real Imperial Fists. He's always played Imperial Fists, so fair play. We've got a Primaris Chaplain with Resuscitation of Focus, Absolve a Bolt Pistol, the usual shit. And Hand of Dawn. I forgot what Hand of Dawn does, but I did look at it the other day and thought, actually, that's not so bad. You providing scoring sheets. There's the ITC Battles app. Use that. Make it paper free, man. Think of the trees. Think of the trees. Paperless. That's the way to go. Huh, that's good, Des. Didn't know that. He's then got a Chapter Master. So this is the new Chapter Master model from Indomitus. Took me a minute to work that one out, but there we go. He's got Storm of Fire, which I actually quite like. It's weird that it's hit rolls, not wound rolls. So you've got to kind of roll your dice, and in 6s you've got to move them to one side, and you've got to roll Other dice. Oh, that's what Hand of Dawn is. Yeah, so you pay 1 CP, you at least get it for free. If not, get it for a big profit. So that's good. I have Hypnoth to make him basically a lieutenant. So that's quite nice. And Torgaradon, who I've never seen on the table before. So that's really cool. That's just nice. I like that. And Torgaradon isn't a chapter master, is he? He's just a captain, right? We've then got... What is it with you fucking Space Marine players? A unit of 10 intercessors. Cool. A unit of 6 intercessors. No special weapons, just bolt rifles on all of this. And a unit of 5 intercessors, this is better, just bolt rifles. Fast attack unit with an Inceptor squad of 6. I like this. I like this a lot. So you'll notice that so far everything we've seen is a bolt weapon, with no exception. And Sam's obviously really like hammering down on that 6s exploding with bolt weapons, right? Intercessor grenade launchers, now they're 2 points, so less often, but occasionally. Outrider squad with the normal 3 bikes, so again, more bolt weapons. An Eradicator squad, because he's playing Marines, so why would he not take an Eradicator squad? Because they're horrible. You have fucked up. You have fucked up quite considerably if they were meant to be stalkers. But if I'm honest, mate, the rapid fire one's probably better for you anyway. But you've put more damage to bolt rifle, not stalker bolt rifle. Which is rough. Sorry, mate. Like I said, I think this is better anyway. Genuinely. And then you've got 2 Repulsor Executioners, exactly the same loadout, with auto launchers, frag storms, heavy laser destroyer, heavy onslaught Gatling cannon, Icarus rocket pod, 2 stormbombers, twin heavy bolter, and twin Icarus Iron Hail heavy stubbers. This is a pretty damn solid list. But Sam, I have some feedback for you right now. Other than putting Stalker Bolt Rifles on your dudes, if that's what you meant to do, you have 8 points left. We've already discussed that. The Primaris Grenade Launcher is 2 points. You could have put 3 of those in those units and been at 1998. And had the ability to loft a crack grenade across the map, which is super clutch. So... definitely would have done that. In terms of this list though, it's solid. I like it. You've got a absolute fuck ton of bolt weapons in that army. As soon as you start hitting them 6s and popping everything off, it's going to be painful for people. And then you've of course got those 2 tanks. You've got the Eradicators in there as well. This is a good list, mate. It's a good list, and I know it gave Jake a bit of a pasting the other day as well, so you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. Last list. This is our second Custodes list. This guy, another guy called Sam. Sam is a really good guy. He's playing Shadow Keepers, which is the one that you tend to see, I think, a lot more now, or will tend to see at least. He's got 1998 points, he's got 10 CP at the start, and he's playing a patrol. He has the Captain General, Mr. Trajan Valoris, who's an absolute beast now. Because now one of his abilities has been changed. It's just, it refunds your CP of the last stratagem you used. So that's your Stooping Dive. Just for free. It's not bad. It's really, really not bad. I like that a lot. We've then got a Shield Captain on Dawn Eagle jet bike with the Superior Creation Warlord trait, and Unstoppable Destroyer Captain Commander trait. And I can't remember what that one does either, but again, I looked that up the other day. He's got the Auric Aquilis Relics, which got a 3-up invulnerable save on that fucking jet bike, which you see a lot because it's so good. We've got 1 unit of troops. It's a unit of 3 Custodian Guard with Sword and Shield. A unit of 5 Alaris Custodians. I love these guys. These are my favourite unit in a Custodes army. I just think they're amazing. So, big fan of these. Total big fan of these. We've got another Vexillus Praetor with, you've guessed it, the Vexillus Magnificus. And the Castellan's Mark relic. I have no idea what that does. Beats paid for it, so it's all good. A unit of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Virtus Praetors with Hurricane Bolters on everyone. A Caladius Grav Tank. That's 3 of them at the event. Blech. And a final nail in the coffin. A Telemon Heavy Dreadnought with Arachna Storm Cannon, and Spiculous Bolt Launcher. Oh. Telemons are horrendous. They're so good. They are so good. Yeah. It's rough. It is rough. But those are the lists we've got coming this weekend. I think there are some good lists there. I can't think of any lists that are bad lists. The Tyrannid list is hilarious. And it's rubbish. So that was a bad list, I guess. It is terrible. It's really, really terrible. But I'd love to play it. Because it's Pacific Rim. 3 gigantic Titanic Tyrannids against my Knights. Yes. Unstoppable Destroyer. That's it. You can pile out of combat. I like that a lot. The Orc player is basically homeless. From looks, at least. I may be at least Amish, but I rock it, you know. So yeah, there's a lot of cool shit going on this weekend. I'm going to take a load of video. We've obviously got to be socially distant, and that is going to bring some challenges, but we're going to take the charger. We're going to make sure we've got a load of footage from the event. Probably won't be able to live stream any of the games, but do turn on notifications on Instagram, !social to get a link to all of those. We might do Sunday night, but remember, Sunday night, I have literally got Valorac's head in my hands. This is what we're painting Sunday, is the actual head. Legitimately, the actual head of Chapter Master Valrak. We get to paint this and then send this off to him to adorn the new model he's had sculpted by Anfarius. Barry is an amazing sculptor. He's knocked it out of the park. I'm really looking forward to painting this. So if you guys want to learn how to paint faces, turn up on Sunday where we'll be doing a full tutorial on painting a kind of Mediterranean style olive skin. Anfarius, Jake. It's spelled with an I as well, I think. So that's Sunday. We could do some tournament roundup chat on Sunday for definite. Is it at a store on Sunday? It is, mate. It is. It's at my local. It's called Atlantic Games. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm glad you guys have enjoyed the list chat as well. I'm glad we've had a bit more of a competitive 40k thing going on. We're a bit too late to do the whip. We'll have a quick look to see if there's a lot in there. If there's not, we'll do it. If there is, we'll miss it. Also, don't forget, over on Discord, !Discord, just for Sunday, and just because Valrak will be in the stream while we paint his head, we're collecting a series of anti-Imperial Fists pro-Iron Warriors memes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a slideshow just like this one, but for when we go to the other screen. So on this screen we'll have this, and every now and again we're just going to go have a look at the reference material, and it'll be some horrible anti-Imperial Fist meme. Yes, the actual legit Chapter Master Valrak has entrusted me to paint the head of his brand new sculpt for the actual Valrak miniature, which is sick. Super, super, super sick. Really looking forward to this. So, follow along on social, Instagram, Twitter, all that sort of shit. Whenever I can post updates on Sunday, I will do. I'll try and avoid spoilers then if you guys want a tournament roundup stream, because they're always fun to do anyway. And that's it. In the whip there is not a lot. We'll do the whip, but I'm going to stop at target number 4. So target number 4's got his stuff in there. That's the last one we're going to do. Then we're going to go on raid. So if you guys want to do some guide the raid, redeeming some channel points, do that now. We'll see who gets the most votes, I guess, for that. That was pre-stream. So Crownblade, here we go. This is you. Playing around with some schemes, thoughts. I really like the middle one. I think the one on the left is a little bit desaturated for my particular tastes. The one on the right, I really like, 'cause that purple takes that desaturated green that you've got going on there and brings that screaming up into the foreground. So I'm a big fan of that. No, you've got to use your channel points to guide the... Oh, you are. It just doesn't highlight it very well. Bilbo's brush. Malev. Love Malev. Des doesn't mind. Nice. But that orange one... Oh, yeah. What's the Matthew McConaughey thing? All right. My man. That one's definitely the one for me, mate. Definitely the one. Good job. Danny, I'll print you one. He's working on... That's cool. So it's a dragon climbing up a tower on a little base that happens to contain a spray can. I'm not sure whether the spray can is going to be there forever or it's just there to hold things in place. But that's cool. It's a holder for a monster can. Brilliant. Brilliant. You've made yourself a little drinks holder. Is this for like the car or something? Like, need a new cup holder. That's awesome. That's so awesome. Fucking win, mate. And then here we go. We've got some more Primaris Marines. There's that Indomitus Captain, Lieutenant, some Assault Intercessors, and a Honor Guard member. I'm genuinely still thinking of selling the Marine army I had, which was all my Alpha Legion stuff that you've occasionally seen down here. I'm restarting my Marines. Might be good because you want the channel points for a free star. We'll even listen to it, mate. We'll stick around and listen. That's your first ever Marines? Enjoy them, mate. Enjoy them. I really want to paint them. I really do. Sons of Rolo was going to work on some heads, but wanted to use your Ragnar Part 5 BO to help, so I did the sword instead. Instead of whip, just need to work on the gold and some edge hiding on the power armor. Mate, I'm really... Oh, fuck! No complaints here. That's a nice green. Mate, I'm impressed. I am impressed. I'm glad the Ragnar video was helpful to you, genuinely. And if you've produced this as a consequence of it, then that's a fucking win. We've got another shot just here. Let's. Oh yeah, mate. See, that the best thing about this is it goes from that super dark green at one end, and that's important. You need that massive contrast, into that mid-tone green kind of slowly, and then as it finishes, like it almost takes the entire length of the blade to get from that mid-tone green up to that bright white. It gets super vibrant up there, and then just like bam, there's the peak, and that is the way. Dude, this is very, very good. You have absolutely made me happy seeing this. Great work. Then we've got some dude and a load of less fortunate dudes. I'm assuming this isn't you starting some chaos scenery and you got some heads on spikes, but nice, mate. Good work on the faces. Obviously got some flesh tone practice going down. Keep it up. That sword though. Alright. Macy. I didn't even know he was here. Work on Death Guard again with the new arrived paints. Can anyone else see nothing but Necrons in the background? And then some painted Necrons, and then some more Death Guard behind that. Part of me would love to see, but be horrified to see, like Macy's hobby room. Because I'm sure there is piles upon piles of sprue. But I'm not sure what else there might be in there, and that's the scary part. Macy, if you're here, mate, only joking, of course. This looks great. The pink really pops. It's nice to see something you've done with a lot more colour going on as well. Obviously, the vibrancy really, really works for me. He's got 1,600 points of new scarabs. Motherfucker. I've got 3 boxes worth. But Hobo J, here we go. Do you need these for the weekend? Are you not WYSIWYG? Maladeus. How you doing, buddy? We're just closing out the stream. Do some whips, and then it looks like we're raiding Malev based on the guide to raids that we've been given. Jake, love him, mate, as always. They good. These are for Sunday. Is it because you need the shooters? I'll give you a shooter. Almost tabletop ready. Gotta get them bases as well, mate. Des, I've had a productive day. Cleaned up and built the rest of the marine half of Indomitus, then primed them all this evening in less than an hour. Nice. Nice. Did you see ours had its sword left off? That's probably the best thing you could have done. I didn't mind the other way round because I thought painting the hourglass would be something I really wanted to make a focal point. And that would be harder. But the hourglass was actually surprisingly simple to do. In fact, so was the sword. Also, I love how organised your paint rack is. Very good. I organised my paint rack. And please be able to lift this. This would go really badly if I drop it on stuff. So yeah, I organised my paint rack. And I did say that if I had paints that were like, oh, I'm never going to use that anymore, that I would probably give them away. And got a box of paint. Some of these are new, some of these aren't. Like, this is completely full. Never used metallic blue paint ever in my life. There's a complete bottle of Vallejo Gold. And another one. A lot of it, though, is just sort of like half a bottle or so of things here and there. This one hasn't been touched since I rebottled it, because, you know. So yeah, I thought we'd give these away. So we're going to give these away on the last stream day of the month. And I was rooting through everything else that I had, and I found I've got another one of those orange inks, and I've got another one of those white inks, and I've got another pot of that turquoise ink. So to give away all of this. The only caveat is this is fucking heavy. This is just over a kilo. I think it's something like 1.2 kilos of paint. And bottles. So we're just going to give it all away. However, if you live outside the UK, you're paying the postage. That's the deal. So, last stream day of the month, put this one in your diaries, 30th of August. Fuckload of paint here, going to a new home. It's just spray cans, aerosols you can't do. But Des, good work, mate. You got them priming down, nice and tidy. I love it. We've got our new storage system here, which we're super, super happy with. It's all good. Might cost me more to ship it to me and buy them all here. That's like 18 quid worth of ink. It fucking works. Vex. Got some bites going on. I still like this chapter colour scheme, mate. Very visceral. But what is going on with this red at the front? Is that dust that got on there, or is that... Struggling to work that out, mate. There's this weird texture going. Hey, mate. Hello. Yes, fine. I do like the colour scheme though, man. Genuinely. Nice and solid. Very bright. I like it. New inks, you got a lovely... Mate, ink's brilliant to work with. Here goes another one. Gotta get the bases done though. Need a good base. Don't know what you're thinking, but desert would look quite cool against this. Ice, I think, would be too much of a contrast, believe it or not. So, nice. Awesome, dude. Paint got too thin. Excellent, mate. Well done. Digital Riot. Here's a name I haven't seen before. Painted some Ultras. Brilliant, mate. I secretly love Ultramarines. It's not much of a secret. I keep telling everyone about it. But I do secretly love Ultramarines. It's the Sergeants. The fucking red helmet is brilliant. It's just good. Goblin Green on the flat base. Fuck no. No. Getting that off. Nostalgia can stay in the past. Good work, mate. Everything looks nice and tidy. Some of the gun could do with a little bit of a cleanup where the silver or the gold has got on the black, so just maybe go back in and sort that out. And some of your panel lines have gone a little bit out of whack, but I love the fact that you've done them. Genuinely, I really, really like the fact that you've done them. Just on his backpack, they go on the right though. Just get some blue and just sort of paint around the recess, and it'll take those panel lines that are a little bit squiggly and just bring them right back in nice and sharp, just in there. I also weirdly like this. I've never seen this done before, but I weirdly like this. The gold rim on the knee pads. I don't know why I like that so much, but I think it just evens the model out a little bit. It's good. And I did say this would be the last one. Twilight Walker, deal with it. And Air... alright, we'll do yours. But that's it. You have painted 3 separate ones. You've got some Last War protocol going on. Valrak would be proud. Looks like a... We'll say Iron Hand on the one side. A fist on the other. And a Sally in the middle. If I'm honest, my favourite thing about this photo is the ghetto hobby that you've got going on and not the Citadel paint handle. Because these units are horrible. Salamander 1 is horrible. Blech. Blech, blech, blech. But you've painted them well. It's just... I get so sick of seeing these fucking things on the table, I swear to God. I'd be sick of reading them in lists. I like it, mate. The green is kind of a desaturated pale green. It's just weird to say that though, because I can see there's plenty of yellow in it. I don't know if that's just the way the camera is reacting to everything else you've got going on. We've got another moth. It's a tiny moth this time though. Yeah, I like the green. The black marine obviously looks great. He's an Iron Hand. They look very imposing as always. The Imperial Fist, the yellow looks a little flat on him, which again could just be the light. So bear that in mind. If that's the case, it's all good. But I think he could do a little bit of work. Maybe get some washes in just around the edges of the armor trim on the shoulder pads. Help line that in a little bit more. Eradicate, yeah, indeed. You blame me for this. You're the one writing tile lists, mate. You know, I take no credit for that. And you've even gone a somewhat odd variant on Fish of Fury. But you've also taken one too many Devilfish. You can't have more transports than troops. I think. So you can't have 4. Sorry guys, I said I'd stop here. I saw this last one that was in. I said I'd stop there. Crazy Anked. We see you in the whip a lot. That's good. It's clean. Obviously, instead of whip, the base needs plenty being done to it. You could do it putting a few quick shadows on that shield just to help give a border between the gold and the white of the shield, but also that little halo they've carved in on the shield as well. Oh, it's just infantry. Fair. Yeah, good. I like this, mate. Purple on Purity Shields works for Blood Angels as well. But I do see a power sword that's yearning to be painted. I even see a little bit of scroll work there that you could definitely do some lines on, right? If you're not feeling confident about the scroll work that goes across the front of the skeleton, like painting a complete word on it, turn it on its side and just do loads of little lines as if someone's taken a long written scroll and wound it round it. Always scared shares. Yeah, I get it. I understand. But if you do it and you do it right, it's going to look amazing. If you do it and you do it wrong, you can correct it with a few minutes of some white paint. And then it'll look amazing. You know? It's paint on a mini. It's not peace in the Middle East, mate. You've got this. Yeah? The rest of your mini, nice and crisp. You can definitely do that. And it will make a massive difference as well. Alright, Crazy Anked, let's see what you got. Show me what you got. More Imperial Fists. Sam, you'd be proud of this guy. He painted an entire Imperial Fist army in like 6 weeks. They all look like this. Got some Assault Intercessors going on. These are the new heat, obviously. And there's the family photo. 6 weeks worth of work. That's solid. I'll tell you what though, if you want to do yourself a big favour, take a photograph of this against black background. Because the yellow will jump out so much more. All my photos are taken against black. Because I think the way it makes the mini look is much better. Because again, it's super high contrast, right? And your yellow will fucking sing on that. The difference between this photo and this photo. In this one, the yellow looks a lot more vibrant because it's taking up more of the frame, and your camera's not having to balance out the white. That black stuff. I can see 1, 2, 3 black tops, shirts, hoodies, whatever. I used a towel at one point, dude. I've got a big black beach towel, and to take the full shot of the Custodes army, I had to use that. You know, do what you do. But dude, great work. Great work, and it's always impressive seeing how much of this you've done in such a short amount of time. This was this evening's stream. We finished them off. We painted a load of highlights. So this was done in 3 stages, guys. Stage 1, the first video, was all airbrush, all the time. I think there was a little bit of brushwork done for this, some of this, some of these bits. But otherwise, it was a fuckload of airbrushing, laying down all of our values, making sure we had a nice bright skin tone that looked realistic, nice bright reds with a decent gradient on them. You can see the shoulder pads obviously got some love through the airbrush. All the airbrush work went down. Got all the base coats down. Stream 2, we took this guy and we oiled him the fuck up. If you want to know how to use oil paints, go and watch that video. Oil paints will change the way you think about painting because it's an extra step to put in there, but it's a step that does great things for your miniature. And then tonight's stream, stream 3, we got all those highlights down, made this guy look sick, literally, as fuck, and then got some weathering pigments out to jazz up that base. Plot was a cracker. I hope you are well happy with this guy. I need to get your info on Discord or so we can ship them out to you. Love the skin tones. Not bad. If you'd like to win a mini painted by me, tune in to the last show of this month. That is August the 30th. It's a Sunday night, and Sunday night giveaways, best giveaways. Always the best giveaways. You could win one of up to 3 miniatures painted by myself. Every Sunday we'll put a new mini in. Last Sunday we put in the Harlequin Shadow Seer. So if you would like to win this Shadow Seer painted by me in a colour scheme of your choice, make sure you're here for that last stream of the month. On Sunday coming, as well as doing a bit of a tournament roundup for you guys. Yeah, belly button jizz. Ugh. No. So we're doing a tournament roundup for you guys. We'll show you the next one of the prizes to go in, and then next Sunday we will at least rattle the mystery box in front of the camera a little bit so you see that there's something that has gone in there. That's going to be it. I think we go and raid Malev, assuming he's still going. It's 10 past midnight, and he might have finished by now. No, he's still there. So the guide the raid was successful. The raid's been guided. Let's get the credits rolling, and then off we go. Unfortunately, I need to sign up to Streamlabs, which I forgot to do earlier on, to roll the credits and then go to the widgets box and the credits thing. But now we've done that, so now I can roll the credits. So thanks very much for sticking by. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, where we'll post updates live from the event this weekend. But otherwise, I will see you Sunday night for our tournament. Peace out, everyone. Have a good week.